graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
More margaritas. Come on now, more margaritas.
We're no stranger to love. You know
the rules.
And so do I.
A full commitment to what I'm thinking. You wouldn't get this from
any other guy.
I just want to tell you how I'm feeling.
Gotta make you understand.
Never going to give you up.
Never gonna let you down.
Never gonna around. And
dessert.
You.
Never
Gonna make
You.
cry. Never
gonna say
goodbye.
Never
Gonna tell
lie
and
hurt you.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show, and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Jennifer.
And for those who've been listening to us, or actually now watching us, for the past couple of years now, as the show reaches, we are 1 month away from our 5-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it just 2012 is when we started.
There was an anniversary right around the one time I recorded, too.
Yeah, so
that was probably like the 2-year anniversary.
The 2-year anniversary.
Probably.
So
yeah.
1 month away from 5 years, but long-term listeners of the show will remember Jen.
Hello.
Jen from after Kristen, but before Paul.
Right.
And
it was right after StrangerCon.
StrangerCon, yeah, that was
StrangerCon. And then we went to Comics Etc. one time.
Yeah.
And did a show out over there.
Yeah, and like
I think that was the only one you did over there, right?
No, I did a couple.
Okay.
I did an interview with a welcome to the new listeners. I did an interview with my old neighbor who was doing a Kickstarter because she was a rollerblade. She was a rollerblade.
The derby chick, yeah.
Yeah, roller derby chick.
Yeah,
and she was raising money on Kickstarter to go to Germany to join a German team. And just by coincidence, she was my neighbor. And then she was doing a Kickstarter. I'm like, well, come on my show. It doesn't, every little bit of press helps. But Comics Etc., which anyone who listens to the show, I advertise every show, and I don't ask him for a dime. I mean, just for the fact that he was cool enough to use the back room, and because what it is, I also kind of one day I may ask him again, because he's like, as long as it's not like on a Friday or Saturday where kids are playing like Magic the Gathering or whatever card games are popular this time, whatever, there's kids who go and play, and when I say kids, excuse me, they're people, grown men who go and play like card games and trader stuff. And so Fridays and Saturday nights it's prime area because that's what they sell, of course, on top of selling comics. So, and like I asked, I said, it'll be like Tuesday or Wednesday. He goes, Tuesday or Wednesday, go right ahead,
Well, yeah, are you sure you really want to do that again?
Well, I mean, was it awkward? Yeah. It was.
Well, especially, don't you remember we had people coming back there shopping?
Yeah.
Somebody, I think, interrupted us, asking us a question, thinking we worked there, had no idea what the heck we were doing. We had to pause it a couple times.
Yeah, I think it's just I'm such a Kevin Smith fanboy that I was like, I want to have a show in a comic book store. So
but you gotta not have shoppers coming in right in the middle of the whole thing. Just like, do you know where such and such?
Well, as a matter of fact, yes, I do. The Flash comics over here. Well, we were in the back. Well, the back part of the comic book store was where they had the back issues. So like if you wanted anything new, you'd get in the front. You'd get the occasional person in the back. But I don't know. I just like the vibe of being in a comic book store, even though it was all awkward and
Plus,
shit like
also,
that.
we had to stop and explain what we were doing like 8 times. And I'm sure that had to get annoying to anybody that was actually listening. So they're like, yeah, you're doing a fucking podcast. We fucking know. But I mean, everybody else, they're walking back there and they're just like, I'm sorry, or whatever. You could tell they felt a little awkward too.
Yeah.
Couple of times.
Yeah, because it is, and it is. I mean, it is awkward just in general going back there because it's like I know they gotta have cameras back there or something, but you go back there and there's no attendance there.
Right.
So you're in the room by yourself with a bunch of comics, and it's sort of you got your hands in your pockets. I don't want to think I'm stealing or something like that, but it's. I don't know. I just like the energy of being at a comic book store. As awkward and as crazy and as stupid as it was, I enjoy doing it. So, that's why I still average just for the fact that he was cool enough to say yes.
Yeah.
So, and actually, I mentioned this on the podcast a couple episodes back. Someone tried to steal from there, and they ended up just grabbing a bunch of what they grabbed. They grabbed a bunch of like order forms. So like all the orders, because the guy thought he was grabbing something valuable, and he was like,
they got robbed?
Yeah, well,
I didn't know that.
These guys went in there and just like grabbed what they could,
but instead
they reached over the desk and reached over and tried to grab whatever they could. And I guess they were assuming it was like some sort of financial stuff.
Awesome.
And he goes, it was just orders. So then on Facebook, he's like, look, anybody who had an order, I'm sorry, but you have to get in contact with us again, because we had these two geniuses come in the store and try to steal fucking order forms, thinking they were taking something valuable. So, yeah, so, so for those who...
It could have been somebody who was pissed off at the guy, though, do you think? Maybe? I mean, I don't know.
The front door camera and the cameras, like, in the actual, like, the bigger part, the main part of the store, they have like, a pretty decent computer, like, visual camera system. Like they got nice, clear pictures of the guy. They put them up on Facebook. These guys just look like crackheads. Yeah, they just look like crackheads. They look like guys that were just looking to snatch whatever they thought was of value. And I mean, you think in a comic book store, you think they just grab like an armload of comics and go start running, but no, they're gonna reach over the counter. So yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah. So in honor, I mean, it's totally coincidental, but in honor of President's Day, seeing that you're the Trump.
You're gonna bring up Sweden, aren't
you?
That shit was so funny. Even I was cracking up at that.
You
one.
know, since you're the Trump.
I was like, wow.
Because even though officially
obviously watching Fox News, and especially Fox and Friends in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, Fox and Friends will remind you that now. Like every 10 minutes on Fox and Friends, like you're watching Fox and Friends in the morning, and they're just like every 5 minutes, like, Mr. President, we know you're watching, so why don't we go ahead and put your schedule up on the TV? But you know what though? The genius thing about that is that John Oliver figured that out as well. Did you hear about this?
No.
Oh my God. So John Oliver figures out that Trump is like the cable news networks fan, because like all in the background of like some of the broadcasts and stuff that he's done, you can hear like the background of the TV going or whatever. Like one of the clips that he shows on his show is specifically Donald Trump on the plane doing like a small press conference or whatever. And in the background is like the commercial for like the AutoZone, or not AutoZone, but the general, the insurance general guy. Like you can really hear it very prominent too. But you can figure out real quickly that he was watching Fox at the time, I guess, because that's like what they were broadcasting and it was all live.
Oh, okay.
So they figured it out real quick. And him and like kind of just in jest, but also in seriousness, he's taken out in DC area a block of commercials on like the cable news networks, like not just Fox and Friends, but like the other ones that are out there.
Oh, so John Oliver is advertising on...
Not advertising on there. He's actually made commercials specifically for Trump.
Target marketing.
Explaining things to him that he should know as president, but doesn't know as president. And I gotta admit, I mean, like, that honestly is genius.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I'm definitely for Trump, but I'm not one of these people that's like, like, I can see past it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that, honestly, that, like, to me, out of the people that were available, he was the best one for the job. And that doesn't make, like, and I was a little reluctant to say it all, too, during, like, the campaign and everything, because I am a small business owner. And I don't want people to really, like, so, especially, too, I mean, like, hello, I marry gay couples, so, I mean, like, I'm definitely not, like, anti-gay or, I mean, like, there was, like, so many things they were saying, like, if you vote for Trump, then you're voting for this. And if you vote for Trump, then you're voting for this. And it's like, but, at the same time, like, my whole big deal was, like, Benghazi. I couldn't get past Benghazi. I really couldn't. I mean, like, that just, for me, was such a sore subject. Plus, also, I mean, like, there's just so much more to her record that I just really didn't like.
Gotcha.
And when it came down to it, I am a small business owner, too. So, I mean, like, a lot of that, like, just that business stuff that he was speaking to me just really spoke to me and everything. Especially, too, NAFTA. Getting rid of NAFTA. That's a big deal. Like, I just think that, honestly, since we've had that in play, that's been the start of, like, our economy really going to shit, and that alone I think is gonna definitely boost up the economy a lot just by eliminating that, So gotcha. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely some shit moves going on right now. I mean, especially to that Sweden shit that came out with him, like, like trying to talk, there was like, he said something about, like all the problems they're having in Sweden and this, then, and Sweden issues a statement the very next morning, like, hey, can you tell us what the fuck your president's talking about?
Yeah, I mean, and here's a guy who's proclaimed, like, I have the smartest advisors, I have the best, I'm very intelligent. But, his sources, the people that he should be trusting are giving him bad information. And that's a bad precedent for
He needs to widen it, but the problem here is that he's insulting most of them. So he's not going to get that kind of a thing. Like, he is definitely paying attention to very much conservative and not really looking outside of that, for one. A lot of his cabinet are definitely not politicians. Like, he's chosen a lot of his cabinet that, like, some of them are politicians, but a lot of them are not. And then, like, and that's why, too, like, I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the mistakes happening because of the fact that, like, one, he really wasn't a politician. You know, I mean, like, this is the first, I mean, he wasn't a mayor. He didn't go through the normal chain that, like, most of our other presidents have gone through, where, like, they've had a lot of various government positions.
They've played the game long enough where they know who to keep around them.
And then, so you got this guy who's, like, you know, he's done the business stuff, and he obviously was groomed from birth to do this whole thing. So it wasn't even like, you know, like, he really, I mean, like, he did work his way up, but he also had some assistance, you know. And you got these people in there that just aren't, like, career politicians, but now they are. But I think that's why we're seeing a lot of the fumbles, is because, like, I think that a lot of people learn through the steps up, like, how to do the thing right and transition. And I mean, like, that's the thing too, like, even just simple transitions, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you look at, like, for instance, like, this week, you know, I went through those CSE meetings for my special education meetings for my kids, you know, where I'm setting up their plans for what's going to happen with them for the next following school year. In February, I'm figuring it out for September. That doesn't make any sense, but that's how the system works.
Yeah, you got to think ahead of the game.
Yeah, but what I've been looking for, like, specifically with my oldest son, because he's about to transition into middle school, we're looking at, okay, how was it when he transitioned from preschool to elementary school, from the one elementary school to the other elementary school, because our elementary school system is broken up from K through 2, 3 through 6. So he had to transition pre-K to the one school, transition again, and now he's about to transition again. But we're a lot, I mean, like, even though he's older and things are different, there's a lot of core elements that go through, like, us learning how he's transitioned that, like, we know what to avoid. You know, like, even though the whole thing's going to be different, the environment's going to be different, the team's going to be different, that everything's going to be different, we still kind of already have an idea, like, how he's going to handle that because he's been through that before and everything. And that's what I'm saying, like, just with transitions, like, the more you kind of go through,
it's a learning process.
Like, even though they're similar, they're different, there's still a process, and you kind of figure it out.
Well, it's, I mean, like, when you, like, yet another reason, and, you know, we're just giving equal time, because I know, you know, we bashed the shit out of Trump on the show. But yet another reason for me to be upset, you know, now that you bring up education, is that, you know, what the Department of Ed strongly influences my current job, which I won't get into, but you know, and there are rumblings on the edges of what I'm hearing that Trump wants to, like, get rid of the Department of Ed. Like, that's the whole reason. Like, that's the whole reason he put Betsy DeVos in charge. So it's sort of like, one, okay, she had given her family has given a lot of people money so she'd get that position. Right. But then it's also like, yeah, they gave her that position because it's a sinking ship. Like, you know, let me fill out the favor. Let me, you know, some obligation that he had to fulfill, you know, to get someone in there, but it's a sinking ship. And if the Department of Education, I'm still going to have a job, but, you know, things have to be restructured for me. So even before I had this job, even when I was against Trump, even before the job, now his decisions are now, like, directly could be affecting my pocket. So, I mean, but that's just, you know, once again, that's just selfish thinking. Right. You know, I'm, you know, the Steve Bannon is sort of like a number one, you know, advisors, you know, Breitbart and the white supremacists, you know, and what's his face? I generally hate Aziz Ansari, but he did have a good bit when he was hosting Saturday Night Live, like, all these guys were like, I didn't realize how hard it was for them to, like, stay in the closet being, like, KKK Nazi guys. And he's like, you know, now that Trump's in office, they're, like, jumping out of the closet. And it's like, wow, I didn't realize you guys were fighting so hard not to be so, like, outwardly pro white supremacy and stuff like that. And you know, and it's just, you know, the guy that, you know, the guy he just had for, like, Secretary of Defense or whatever, where, you know, he
just announced a new one too, but I didn't even see who the pick was or anything like that, but I know that he did announce a new one too.
The guy that led the chant of, like, lock her up is the same guy that, like, was talking to, you know, Russian spies or Russian, you know, Russian intelligence officers. And it's like, you know, if it's going to be an uphill, it's definitely going to be an uphill struggle because I mean, Trump just. The guy doesn't know what he's doing, and I'm scared that he's going to make the wrong fucking decision, and it's going to be too late. A bomb's going to go.
The whole reason why I did vote for him, though, was because he doesn't know what he's doing. To be honest with you, I mean, like really, because that was my whole thing. I was like, look, the last change didn't work. Okay, like the last change.
Bravo! Watch what happens. America, the reality show.
God, for real. I mean,
we put a moron in charge. No,
but seriously though, let me tell you, that's kind of how they're looking at it. Because like I have friends in Canada, I have a friend in Belgium that I talk to, and they all look at it like, wow, like what is up with America? You know. I mean, like, there was the one meme that my cousin posted the other day, and I was dying. And it was a guy in the window eating ketchup potato chips, and it said, "This is Canada watching American politics." You know, and he's just in the window.
The guy just
and it just totally fits. I mean, but when I say like because he doesn't know what he's doing, it was just like I said, the change. You know, I mean, like I was kind of thinking like, okay, you know, I mean, like I remember too, like not necessarily they didn't know what they were doing. I mean, obviously they hired CEO from CEO, you know, somebody who actually had CEO experience, but. When I worked at Sprint, and they ended up hiring in, it was Howard Schultz, I think his name was, Schutz or something. He didn't have like any idea about wireless or anything like that, but man, oh man, he came into a sinking ship, and he definitely did turn it around. In the time frame that he was there, he turned it around. And even too, selfishly enough, like 6 months of that guy getting in the office is when I lost my job. My job got cut across the board. How I found out I was losing my job was that first there was this employee, like mandatory employee, every employee conference call at like 1 p.m. on this one day, and we found out about it that morning or whatever, and we get on there, and the guy's announcing, and this is at the beginning of November, right? And he's announcing, we're going to have 2,500 jobs cut by the end of January, and you will know within 2 weeks whether or not you're part of the cut. And I know the holiday time is the worst time to lose your job, but then again, when is a good time to lose your job?
Sure.
I'm running a company, and it makes sense for a company to try to have most people out by January 1st and everybody out by January 31st who is going to not be on board come February 1st.
Yeah, before they poison the well.
Right, exactly. And as much as I'm pissed, because I'm figuring out too, because I'm just like, okay, I just made it through the last round of layoffs that happened, you know, like months before. And I was like, when I made it through that round, I was like, holy crap, I can't believe they actually cut my spot. Because like, I could see when they were doing that restructuring, how they could take part of my job and move it here, and part of my job and move it to this person, and part of my, you know, and then just be done with my job, you know? And then that was it. I mean, like, and then when we actually did get cut, it was me and 52 other people who had my spot as part of this big 2,500 people layoff and everything like that. And I found out within a week and all that. But again, I just never really took it personal. Like I was seeing it the whole time. I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, because I understood exactly what he was saying when he was saying that. He's like, I got brought on to run a business. And that's what I have to look out for. I have to look out for the business. Yeah. And unfortunately, it brings bad news. Some hard decisions have been made, but it's a business decision, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's why I also, too, took my firing so easily, because of the fact that I knew it wasn't anything I did. I didn't do anything wrong. You know, it was just simply they're eliminating my spot, you know? Which sucked, but...
And speaking of Sprint, I hate those fucking commercials. With the Verizon guy.
Oh, I love that campaign.
Hi, I'm Paul the...
You kidding me? I absolutely adore it. But again, too, that's me being old school Sprint and working in the retail store for like 4 years and having, you know, like one of the first things people would always come in, can you hear me now? You wanted to just freaking like shoot it, you know?
But the guy worked for Verizon for all those years. The only reason
as a spokesperson.
He's a spokesperson, but I mean he worked for them. I mean, you know, you're getting a paycheck. Like as a joke, like even like the other day, I got like a $5 check from the Jack and Triumph show that I did 2 years ago.
Your royalty check?
My royalty check. So technically, I didn't
realize it was that low.
Oh no. Well, a friend of the show, Sean said, why don't you show us the pennies you got? And I'm like, no, I get a halfway decent size of premium coffee for
I can't go to Starbucks
for $5.
I can head over to D&D.
I'd be big balling in Dunkin' Donuts. But that being said, like I have even if it's a $5 check, I mean, not that my loyalty is bought, but I'm not going to badmouth the Jack and Triumph show, right. Like you know, and I mean, one it was a great experience, but you know, for him, like he has a whole second career bashing the whole reason we know his name in the first place. You know, like the whole reason we know his face is because of Verizon, and trust me, I'm not a Verizon fan, But for him to have a second career, like, you unloyal motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Where is your loyalty?
But then obviously it's with the money.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him. I mean,
I wouldn't blame the Sprint guy. You remember the Sprint dude? Remember with the trench coat? Back when I worked there, that was the spokesperson. He had been the spokesperson for a few years prior. And then, like, he was the spokesperson pretty much almost the entire time I was in retail, up until the big Sprint Nextel merger of equals, which was really, honestly, what it was, a lot of people are like, oh, that's when Sprint brought out Nextel. But to be honest with you, actually, Nextel brought out Sprint, but took over the name.
You kept the Sprint name.
Oh, yeah, because the Sprint name was way more established than Nextel was. I mean, Sprint goes back to, like, the early 1900s, so before wireless. So, excuse me. But they, yeah, so it was the merger of equals, and it was just before that they let the guy go. But when they let the guy go too, they didn't really, it was just like kind of cold. Like they just basically like all of a sudden it was just like, there's no more Sprint guy.
Yeah.
And that was like, like they made an announcement against the company and it was just like done. So the company doesn't necessarily have loyalty either to their advertising campaign.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think who would be the anti Triumph insult comic dog, like Jeff Dunham. I guess if Jeff Dunham wants to give me, if Jeff Dunham wants to give me money, I guess I'll talk shit about Jack and Triumph. But I'm just saying, is just those commercials just slightly irritate me because I'm like, what a disloyal bastard. But then again, pays the bills.
Yeah. Plus, also this day and age too, it's kind of hard to stay loyal to a cell company. Like me, I've always been like I've had the same service with Sprint and the same phone number through Sprint since 1999.
Jesus.
Right, exactly. And now my contract's up in June, and I'm probably hopping to prepaid because right now I'm paying double of what. For prepaid. And for what? I've been stuck in a contract. I'm using a phone that I kind of like, but, I would much rather switch out of it, honestly, and get something better.
Yeah.
And give this one to somebody, like my kids or something like that, but yeah, as far as like the money is concerned too, I'm paying double right now, still being in a contract, and in the meanwhile, since I signed my contract, all these prepaids have really dropped down very significantly. I've been using a prepaid phone for my oldest son, so I know how the system works and everything. I've gotten used to it, and I just got it now set up so it just automatically pulls from my account, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I got a Net 10 phone. It's $50 a month, and it's 5 gigs that are 4G. Then everything after that is it slows down to 2G. That's like ridiculous, but
yeah.
At least like with 2G, you can still check your email. You're not streaming anything. You're not, you can kind of go on Facebook, kind of. But, if you're a person, after that first 5Gs, you have to be watching like a lot of videos to burn through those 5Gs. Like if you use it, and mind you, like right now, like when I go to lunch, I'll go on Facebook. And I don't stream videos, I don't stream music, but, I could check my Facebook every day. I check Instagram for a little while. And I still haven't run through my 5G. Like a couple months ago, I ran through it real quick because I didn't know what I was fucking with. And I was watching videos on YouTube and I was burning it up. And then after a week, I'm like, okay, now I got the next 3 weeks of 2G, which is like, I want to gouge my eyes out. But if you use it sparingly, you can make 5Gs last, and that's only $50. They have cheaper. They have
Virgin Mobile.
There's like $35
for the 5G one, and then it's $45 for the 10. And then if you want to, you can buy additional
data.
Yeah, you can buy additional data. So and that's the thing too. Even though right now I got Louis' phone set up to pull every month at actually it's right around this time, and it pulls out $35 automatically. Mm-hmm. But if I realize that I'm gonna need more data or whatever, I can just go and buy more data.
Yeah. And that's when you got a problem when you're buying data. That's Louis, such a first world problem.
Most of the time he only uses before 5, but there's been a couple months that he has used between 5 and 7, and I'm okay with that because that's been the months that we've been in the car a lot or whatever. And let me tell you, that phone is a saving grace in that car that I'm happy to dish out that data, man. I'm just like, take it, fine, good. Just give me some peace in the car so I can drive and not get into an accident, please.
Yeah, because remember back, just like 10 years ago, it was like you had to have the DVD player in your car. All the parents had DVD players in the car to keep their kids shut up. Now you can't find them if you're looking for one. Now all the parents have their kids, even if it's an old phone that the parents don't use anymore, they just play this, play fucking Angry Birds, play, if you do have data on it, now they put the fucking data in the car. But it's funny, like how parents, like, even when I was a kid, my dad used to buy me and my brother the little LCD games,
right?
To like shut us up on like whenever we went on like a trip, any
like
trip,
football game,
yeah,
or whatever like that. Yeah,
whenever we went on a trip that required getting on an airplane,
yeah,
that was like my father like last minute, right before we got on the plane, that was my dad's like, here, shut up, you know, play with this and shut up
for at least 2 hours, and that would. And now you can one of those games to our kids, and they'll be like. Psh. They gonna toss it. Like, what the hell is this shit?
But you know, it's funny how parents like, you know, times change, but they haven't really changed. You know, saying like, you know, you buy your kids something that buzzes and bleeps and makes all types of noise, and they'll shut them up.
Pretty much.
So
parenting.
So with this being a non-traditional show, we're not really we don't have too much nerdy news, but you know, we do have some nerdy news, but not much. But we'll be right back with more dick and fart jokes.
Yeah, pretty much.
It
still works.
Or tit and queef
jokes.
It
still flies.
We'll be back with more tit and queef jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of it.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this movie.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
doll popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough
How could you watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-n-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. Okay, so we're about halfway. I mean, I knew we were going to spend a lot of time. Oh no, okay, we're not. We're doing pretty good. I knew we were going to spend some talking about Trump, but let's
move on to something.
Let's talk about. Okay, you know, don't be wrong. I know I've been wanting to have you on, and we've been planning to have you on.
Right.
But I'm not going to lie. If there's a little part of me that's just sort of just saying this is a big fuck you to Oscar, because Oscar's been. And you know, don't be wrong. I love Oscar.
Well, he only wrote one note about me.
Well, I think he's.
Or they mentioned me, not about me, but they mentioned me in the note. I mean, they mentioned Kristen too, and
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. He absolutely hates my baby mama, my daughter's mother I've had on the show,
that's right,
and he absolutely hates her. And it shows you how long ago it's been. Like he's been writing to the show or been watching the show since, like, I think once again, like around the time you started co-hosting and right towards the end when Kristen stopped co-hosting.
Right.
Which, do you want to talk about that or no? You don't want to? What she sent to you? What she sent you a message or whatever? Or no? Do you want to?
I forgot. Remind me.
No,
I'm talking about.
Well,
it.
no.
The
other day you had mentioned that Kristen had kind of sent you a message, like to back off,
that
you're encroaching on her space. And I'll be honest with you. And I'll be on the record, and I share a lot of shit that I shouldn't share on the podcast, and I understand that. But I'll honestly say that Kristen had never, ever, ever confronted me and said anything about, like, she feels that you're, like, encroaching on her on the show. Now, she did confront me about Layla.
Right.
She was like, I think Layla was the straw that broke the camel's back, I think.
You know what I think it was, if I remember correctly? Because I think if I remember telling you this story, too, I think that I had a couple shots at me, to be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
When we talked, not today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, like, when we talked about it at another appropriate time where drinking responsibility was okay. But I remember now that what it was it had to do with, like, I think you guys had some discussion before this. Yeah, that's what it was. You guys had some discussion, and there was something going on where she had said something to you along the lines of, like, it's my name that's on this. Or something
that's what she said. I mean, about Layla, that it's my name on this, and that you're having her on the show. And I'm like, any person with a fucking,
because her thing was, like, she was basically saying to me, like, it wasn't like back off,
mm-hmm.
but it was just kind of like, I was saying to you,
mm-hmm.
like, kind of like emphasizing to you how I felt about what I was reading.
Oh, okay.
Which was that she was basically telling me to back off.
Oh, okay.
But she was actually kind of doing it, like, she was kind of
in a very catty woman way.
Yeah. Us girls, we got a good way of, like, being able to, like, be nice but be mean but be nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we can do it all at the same time. We're talented, and I think she was definitely being nice, being mean, being nice.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but when I was saying, like, the back, that was me saying to you, like, that's what I was, like,
that's the vibe you were getting.
That was the interpretation of what I was reading and how I was taking it. I was taking it like, you need to back off.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I honestly, in my heart of hearts, and I have no reason to lie, she did confront me when I had Layla on,
right?
And then my name's on the show, and you having her on, and people are gonna think that's me. I said, no one with the slightest brain in their mind is gonna confuse you and Layla. When we started the show, the episode, I introduced her as my baby mama, my daughter. I just keep saying baby mama. I don't mean to be that disrespectful, but my daughter's mother. And at that time things were different. Mom was high as a fucking kite when she recorded that episode. Yeah, I mean, definitely. It was obvious she was high as a kite. Yeah. And and I said, no one with half a brain would think that's you. Not to mention that they don't sound alike. And it
wasn't that she thought.
And Kristen didn't sound like someone who just shot up some heroin.
What it was that she, because now you said it. What it was that she Layla came on high. Mm-hmm. And it's not that she was worried about anybody confusing her with Layla. Mm-hmm. It was that she was worried, especially with her and her career that she was doing. I don't know if she's still doing the same career or not, but the type of career that she was involved in at the time, which I don't know if she ever talked about it on the show or anything. That's why I'm not saying it. That could impact her if she didn't think, because she was joking around too. That one time with us, where she was saying, I doubt anybody that I work with listens to the show, ha ha ha, blah blah, and we got a chuckle out of it at the time too. So, but I think that her whole thing was this is a public thing, and then here's this that gets thrown in, and if there was somebody paying attention, this could really impact me at work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I could never run for president. I could never do anything important in my life because I got this shit on record. And I get where she comes from. And she did talk about it on the show. She was an EMT. And,
okay.
And
I didn't know if she had actually told everybody or not.
Here in Rochester, there was a big deal where there was a guy that was shooting at the police. and the EMTs, and the EMT showed up, and then he started shooting at the EMTs. I think he killed the guy must have killed his wife or something like that. He killed somebody. Then the police showed up, and then the EMT showed up, and then he started shooting at the EMTs. And Kristen was actually part of the second wave. She was there when it happened.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And you know, God bless whatever, you know, angels are watching over her, or, you know, if you believe that stuff, you know, whatever, you know, whoever luck of whatever she had, luckily she wasn't shot. And I know that was really traumatic. And, you know, but she was trying to be EMT. And then, you know, the funny thing, I took training to be EMT back in 1996. Oh. Right out of high school, I took my EMT training. So when she was telling me stuff, like, I was like, yeah, you know, like, when you become an EMT, you kind of share war stories with other people and stuff like that. So, you know, I worked a couple of shifts in the emergency room as part of your New York State training. And, you know, and I hung out with people that worked in the volunteer ambulance, you know, and I never did the full on volunteer, because you needed, before you worked anywhere, you have to do volunteer service. Like, no place is going to, except for like the city where that hires you, like, except for a city job, New York City job, every other place, every other hospital, you got to do some time in the volunteer. And I was like, at that time I was working, and like, I was kind of doing a little bit of college at the time. And I was like, I don't know how I squeezed EMT training in there also, but when I got I took the certification, and I never did anything with it. But, you know, so, I mean, she would tell me some war stories and stuff like that. And, you know, and I miss her, and I feel bad. I don't, you know, I feel bad she's no longer part of the show, but.
Do you talk to her still outside the show?
She fell off the face of the earth. I sent her Facebook messages, I sent her Yahoo messages, and not a response at all. You know, I hope she's still alive, quite frankly. You know, but that's not, you know, I don't want to get into her business because she's not here to defend herself. But if she's on,
well, when she did leave, didn't it was amicable, if I remember correctly? Did she wrote you a note?
She basically said, you know, I'm doing other things, and this isn't, the show wasn't going the way I wanted it to. Not, she didn't put it like that, but she had basically said that, you know, she wants to do. Now, when she first came into the show, and I can't believe we're spending this much time talking about it. No, but when she first came on the show, because she had wanted to do improv, that was her thing. And I had done a couple of nights with, you know, the Village Idiots, and that was out of the Village Gate Mall, and not that I was ever really involved with them, but I probably, you know, I did a couple nights with them, and I'm like, okay, you know, I go there. That's why I trained and stuff like that. And then she had mentioned, you know, I want to do something else, like maybe a podcast. And that, to me, that opened the door. I'm like, oh my God, we have to do a podcast. And so we started doing that. And for some reason, I guess 5 years ago, it felt like a different landscape. And I had told her, I said, look, give me 2 years. I know it sounds crazy. I said, I guarantee you in 2 years, we're going to be famous. Like I had said that. I said in 2 years, we're gonna have some sort of notoriety. We're gonna have a presence on the internet. You know, and that was, you know, at the very beginning, we were doing 2 episodes a week, and, you know, and she was dedicated, you know, for someone that also was going to school and had a job and everything like that.
Yeah, because she did mention the time.
Yeah, you know, and that's and at that time I started the show. I was unemployed, so it was easy for me to go, yeah, let's do 2 shows a week, because I didn't have anything else to do. I mean, I was taking care of my daughter, but you know, 5 years ago she was 1. You know,
I forgot too. You were trying to keep up with twice a week.
Yeah,
back then.
I always.
You were trying to get on in the beginning of the week, and then you were trying to get one in, like, usually on Fridays.
Yeah, like, it was like if I had it my way, it'd be like Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's sort of like, you know, and the way I listen to podcasts, you know, I listen to all the podcasts that I follow religiously. I'll pick up the occasional podcast, but, you know, I listen to one called The Weekly Planet, which is all about comic book movies. I listen to Cinema Psyops, which are friends of the show, and then, of course, the Kevin Smith ones, you know, the Hollywood Babylon, Edumacation, you know, Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, trying to think what else, and Smodcast. I mean, the original, the big daddy that started it all, Smodcast. So, you know, those are the ones I'm like diehard loyal to. I'll make sure I listen. You know, and I listen to the occasional Nerdist or, you know, I have friends that recommend other podcasts.
About Last Night is a really good one.
I heard about. I've heard a couple of them.
It's got Brad Williams.
Brad
Williams is actually
the dwarf, right? That's
he actually guest hosted an episode once of Babylon.
Babylon, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the podcast, and I guess in the beginning, like, I told Chris, and I said, give it 2 years. You know, and once again, it was a different landscape back then. I said 5 years ago, I said, give it 2 years, and I promise that we'll have some sort of notoriety. And she gave me a little over a year, you know, and then after Stranger Con, she said, You know, she said, that's it, I'm done, you know, and so, like, you didn't give me a chance to make my promise. You had to give me a 2-year commitment, and then we would have probably, and like I said, it was asking a lot. And it was asking a lot, especially from a guy that was fucking unemployed. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and here we are 5 years later, I'm still doing the podcast. And it's not like I'm doing this for money. And it's not like I'm doing this for fame because I didn't fucking reach that kind of level. But, you know, I love doing the podcast so much. And it is a record. It is a record of things going on in my life. Like, heavens forbid I fucking leave here tonight and fucking die. Like, my daughter could listen back to the past 5 years of her dad's life, you know, like...
I hear you shit talking her mouth.
You know, here's daddy had a job. I mean, it was a dad didn't have a job, then he had a job, then he got punched in the face. Yeah. Well,
my dearest daughter.
Don't play this for her until she's over 18. There's a record of the past 5 years of her life, but don't let her listen to it after she's 18. Dad, what's fap? You know, what's fapping? Yeah. But, you know, so...
My dearest daughter, let me explain things before you judge.
Dad was an angry man. Dad was a very angry man. Love me as a father. Understand me as a man. You know, because, you know, I understand that I'm an acquired taste. But, you know, and so, I don't know, just doing the podcast, like, it is my therapy. It really is. And I can, you know, I do go back and I do on occasion listen to an older episode just for whatever reason. And I'm like, wow, things are so much different now than they were back then. And, you know, a lot of things are better. Some things are worse, you know, and I was, you know, I think I've been on the podcast through some of my darkest fucking times. And it's like, you know, I could look back and 10 years from now and go, wow, you know, 2025 or something like, you know, oh, you know, what was I doing in 2005? Or 2015, excuse me. And, you know, and I think 2015 was 2 years ago. So, right. You know, it is what it is. All right,
well, you're definitely well better off than you were when we last recorded. When we last recorded, you were in that trailer with those people with the cat.
Oh, yeah.
You were having the cat drama, remember?
Yeah.
You talked about the cat drama, too.
Yeah. So then, you know, and I moved a couple of times, and now I'm living by myself, you know, and I say living by myself, I have my own apartment where my daughter stays with me a couple nights out of the week, working a halfway decent job, you know, which is something I did want to talk about. You know, the glamour and the luster of my job is slowly starting to kind of like wash off, and it's not really my job's fault. It's just some of the people I work with. Okay. Like I had someone at my job. Like,
do any of them listen to this first time?
I don't think so. I think one guy from my job even knows the podcast exists.
I was say, I mean, like if I was you, I wouldn't go into any office job or anything like that telling them like I do a podcast.
No, I don't. He friended me on Facebook, and then that led to him like he's like, "What's do you do, a radio show or something?" I said, "I do a podcast or whatever." So, you know, but I mean, I have to vent because it's like, I mean, everybody bitches about their job, but it's just like I had someone steal an account from me, and I was fucking livid. I was ready to fucking quit that day. I was like, this fucking bitch, you know, and I had my boss explain to, and then of course, you know, it's sort of like, well, you know, we've all had accounts stolen from us. Like that doesn't fucking make it right, you know.
Well, that's sad. Spirit. Like I can tell you that actually the way that I ended up in Sprint, seriously, was because of a sale. Mm-hmm. And here's the story, right? I was selling cars, all right, back in the day. And I spent all this time with this one couple from New York City that came into my place and they wanted to buy a Suburban, you know, which, I mean, still didn't really make too much sense to me, but whatever. They had the money, they were doing it, you know, and everything. Because I mean, like, really, I started thinking about it too. I'm just like, what the hell are they going to do with a Suburban once they get back to the city? Like, they wanted a Suburban and they had the money. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, I spent like 6 hours with these guys, going through the process, trying to get them approved and everything. We get them approved, we get everything settled. We're like, okay, you know what? Come back in 3 hours. We'll have everything ready for you. You can take delivery, blah, 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 this and that, whatever. So, you know, the thing goes in the back or whatever. I get back from lunch. I go and check it and everything's going good and everything. I come back out front and my manager at the time, this guy Chris, he says, I want you to go talk to the guy over by the tracker. And I was like, nah, dude, I got my people coming back in a little bit here. You know, I got to do my delivery and everything. He's like, don't worry. He's like, I want you to go talk to him. He's like, because I think that he needs to talk to the girl. I'm just like, okay, all right, fine, whatever, you know? I'm like, don't no. I'm like, just please put them in my office. You know, because we had our cubicles, you know, but still office, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, please, if they get here, just put them in my office, right? So I go out with the damn tracker guy for a second. And I can tell he's tire kicking and everything like that. So I get him back real quickly and just get him scooped off, you know? And I come back in and Chris is like, what happened? I'm just like, he wasn't buying. I'm like, he was just tire kicking, you know? And he's like, you know, like, you're supposed to talk to us, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And my people come in for the Suburban yet? Yeah, they're with Perfetto right now, right? I'm like, oh, that's another salesperson. I'm like, oh, no. Here we go. And I knew. So then everything gets done. I go over, like, when they come back in and everything like that, shake my hand, start joining in on the whole delivery thing or whatever like that, but it's mostly over with at that point and all that. So then they leave and, you know, we're waving, you know, yay. As soon as they leave, get back in, and Perfetto's like, man, thank you so much. I really needed that commission, blah, 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 blah. Oh, hell no.
This wasn't a fucking gift.
Started going, I'm like, no. I told you guys, please put them out. You know, and they were like, well, you know, that's the deal is when you get two salespeople, you split. Oh, no. I'm like, he delivered it for our head. So I started kind of losing my shit a little bit and everything. I told him, I was like, you know, and then finally Chris is like, do you need to go home for the day? I'm like, fuck yeah, I need to go home for the day. You know, let me tell you, I go home. And I'm talking, this is 99, right? So I go home, or no, 2000, excuse me. Go home, get on my computer, internet and job hunt and everything. That was all just becoming like really popular and revolutionized and everything like that. Yeah. So here I am, just on the computer, furiously typing, sending out my resume to anywhere I can figure out to send my resume to online, right? Like, I'm just going anywhere online I can figure it out. And if I can email them or submit it online, I'm doing it. And I stayed up till like 2 a.m. doing that and everything like that. Go into work the very next day. They're like, all right, we talked about it with the general manager. He agrees with you. This is what we came up with. Which I thought it was a fair deal. Because back in the day, you used to get paid by the vehicle. And like, if you sold a higher end vehicle, you got paid a higher end commission. You sold a lower end vehicle, you got paid a lower end commission. It's not that way anymore for most dealerships. Now it's like pretty much like across the board or whatever. But that's how it was back in the day when I sold. So I got my Suburban commission, which I definitely deserved. But I had to turn around though on my next like lower end car that I sold, like a Cavalier or something like that. I had to turn around and give the commission to Perfetto for that, you know? And I was like, all right, fair deal. Because my whole thing was I was really upset about the Suburban deal. You know what I mean? That's why, because that was the chunk, you know? Yeah. So I got the chunk, so I was relatively happy and satisfied. And then 3 weeks later, Sprint called me. They saw my, because they're like, yeah, we're hiring. And that was the thing too, like they were kind of desperate too at the time because they were like, the guy who I ended up working for years later on, and then like basically I used to joke around that like half my job was covering his ass because it really was. The guy who hired me, like he admitted to me like that he had sat on like staffing the store and that now he was like desperate. So I was just like, well, I got somebody for you, right? I called my one buddy, I'm like, you need to come down here today. I'm like, because they're hiring, like they just don't care. I'm like, so you need to go in today. And let me tell you, he picked up a job too.
Your standards are dropping. Come now.
That's exactly it. It was really seriously like that. Because I'm like, dude, they're interested in my freaking PageCom experience. PageCom was this little ghetto pager store, right? On the corner of J Street and Broad, which is like total ghetto.
That's in
Rochester.
the hood.
Yeah, it's definitely the hood, you know? Yeah. And I worked there for 2 years, yeah. Because that was the thing, when I answered the phone, you know, like I really was applying to a lot of like automotive places and everything like that when I sent out my resume. And I only applied to that Sprint job because I was just like, shot in the dark, you know? And then they, you know, like when the place called me back and they're like, well, we're interested in your wireless experience. At first I'm just kind of like, wireless experience. You know, like, whatever.
I sold beepers in the hood.
Exactly. I sold beepers and prepaid cell phones in the hood. And even barely at that. Like that was like really kind of the job. But like more I worked for the guy that owned the place. Because the guy that owned the place, he also like did things like he used to buy like small apartment complexes and fix them up and things like that. So see, I really ran his stuff, including his personal finances too. Like seriously, like second week into the job, he was teaching me how to forge a signature so that I could cut the checks and stuff like that. Seriously.
God bless America.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, and then finally I got it close enough, and he was like, "That'll fly," and that was it. So. Yeah. All right. What else you got on here?
All right. Let's see what we got.
Really been.
Yeah. So my
Catch Me Outside, girl. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. See, let me tell you,
bunch of ridiculousness.
I've been on Instagram recently. For some reason I've been getting on Instagram, and she has so many fucking videos out, and it's like, look, that girl,
TMZ's still following her for some fucking reason.
And it's
I don't know why.
She is such jailbait. And it's like, because remember, like,
Do you mean jailbait? Like guys are gonna? Well, probably both.
I'm just saying is like, remember, like even like when the Olsen twins were like, there was like a website dedicated to the Olsen twins turning 18.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And everyone keeps, oh, she's so young. Yeah, but she's a little fucking hood rat. But like,
she's only 13.
She's one of those like, and I mean, she's not a fucking virgin. You know what I'm saying? Like,
probably not.
You know, but it's like, you know, if she was in the hood, I mean, if she probably is in the hood. I'm just saying is that, you know, she'd be doing adult things even though she's a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
and it's like, it's funny how like people just admit that she's jailbait. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why she's so famous. That because there's grown men.
She's famous because she's a scumbag.
Well, she's scumbag, but she's
I mean, like, I don't know.
She has a certain appeal to her that I think that
to some of the guys and stuff like that. But I think the reason why she got so popular was because of just that stupid quote. I mean, like, really, like her yelling at an audience, but if, like, catch me outside.
But if it was an ugly girl, I don't think she'd be as famous as.
Probably not, because let me tell you, man, there's been plenty of episodes of Murray, and there's been plenty of beautiful quotes that I have just captivated and taken on my own. Out of Maury, because I mean, like, you know, but none of those people are getting their memes or anything like that. I mean, like, that's probably got something to do with it. I don't know. I really hate that this has gone.
Yeah, it's sad that we live in a world where that we even know who she exists. That we even know that.
I mean, like, not that she exists, but like, I mean, like, I hate that it's stuck around so long because now it's like they're starting to put this girl on a pedestal in a way. You know, and
she's
then,
the new
like,
Kim Kardashian, the new like famous for nothing.
Because I don't want my kids like thinking that is the way that you act. You know what I mean? Like that, because it's not acceptable in any way, manner. You know what I mean? Like even for adults to be acting like that, it's not acceptable. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, like, and yeah, I mean, like I always explain to my kids, like, you know, like my son, you know, for instance too. You know, like, why do I gotta be a gentleman? Why I gotta have manners? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, no, it really does. I'm like, because you need to understand something too. I'm like, the way that you do conduct yourself with people is what you're gonna get back in return.
Yeah.
I'm like, and if you're polite and you have manners, people are going to be polite and have manners with you most likely. So, you know, you want to show them that you're that type of person that you have half a brain.
Yeah.
And that you can say please and thank you. And you're going to, if you do that, you're going to be pretty okay in life, you know? I mean, as long as you can definitely show some, you know, show some respect and show some manners. This girl is outright, I mean, like, she went right back on that show and insulted him. I mean, she tried to sit there and say, like, I made you, Dr. Phil. Like, no, Oprah made Dr. Phil. That's how we even know who Dr. Phil is. Okay, so let's just get that straight, little girl, right there. Oprah made Dr. Phil. You went on and got him famous, and you should be really kissing Dr. Phil's ass for even having you on the show to begin with, putting you through some reform camp that obviously didn't work. And like, that was funny, because like my one buddy posted, he was just like, hey, she's going on the show. I wonder if she's changed or whatever. I posted back, I'm like, well, TMZ just reported this morning she tried to punch out one of the reporters, so obviously not much.
Get like banned for life off airplanes and stuff like that.
Or no, she threatened, that's what it was. She threatened to punch one of the reporters or whatever. And that's the thing, like TMZ's still following her around. Like she's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, like, you know, they did follow around like the other ones too. Like you go back to like Chewbacca Mom. They followed her around for a few weeks, but then they laid off because it gets old, you know? Like, I just don't understand, like, why is this not getting old? Like, at some point, I wish this would just go away and fade into the background a little bit, you know?
Because it's been about a month, so she doesn't have much left.
Like her 15 minutes is about up.
Yeah. All right. So, how was your Valentine's Day?
It was a day.
It was a day.
It was.
I worked
Tuesday.
I worked late that night, so I had an excuse not to not have a date because I'm like I'm working.
I don't worry.
I'm working till night.
Valentine's Day for me has always just kind of been another day at this point. You know what I mean? Especially since I stopped being married. You know, and I don't know. I mean, like for me, like for one, like I just never really I wasn't that girl. Like, when I was in high school, for one, I dated a guy who wasn't in high school. Like, he had already been on high. Like, he was a little older than me. Let me tell you, my parents did not like it whatsoever, you know, but he was a little older than me. And I dated him for 3 years out of my 4 years of high school. So, I mean, like, to me, that's my high school boyfriend, you know, and everything. But, like, so, like, all that stuff they did in school with, like, the send a flower to your homeroom or something, I just never really got that kind of stuff because the guy I dated was out of school, and then we usually would get together on Valentine's Day, and then that'd be whatever, you know, like you know, because when you're younger, it is a little bit more important to you and that kind of thing, you know. And then I don't know. I mean, like even with like you know, even when I was married and stuff like that too, like we didn't really partake in that or anything like that. Yeah, but he wasn't that type of dude either. Like you know, like I was married to him. Like I was with him. God, like 5 years before we got married. We were married for 5 years, and like you know, not including the 1 year it took us to get divorced. So in 10 years, the guy never once like even brought flowers. Like not even like send her, and like never even brought it home. You know what I mean? He always blamed my allergies. You know, you have allergies, which I mean, like. Yes, I do, but there's these other things called pills, you know, and you take the pill and then it blocks the allergies, but still, nonetheless. And then even still too, like, you know, and then John, whenever my ex, you know, my boyfriend after that, brought me flowers, it was always after we had a bad fight. And it was every time. I mean, like, besides the first date, every time I got flowers after that, it was always like, you know, like flowers because we had a fight and he was kissing my ass.
sorry, flowers.
And then half the time, and then he realized very quickly that usually that just pissed me off a little bit more because at the time we were, he started doing that kind of thing. We were sharing the finances. I'm like, fuck, you just wasted money on flowers? You know, like, you could have just said, I'm sorry. You know, you could
have said, I'm sorry, and pay the cable bill.
Exactly, right? Instead of, you know, buying like a $25 bouquet, which is sweet, but, you know, it's like I would rather, and that's the thing too, like I would have rather got him like on a surprise or Valentine's Day or something like that. So, I don't know. Valentine's, like I did a little something for my kids, you know, like I get them each a little gift, and then I get chocolate for the house because, you know, I mean, I'm not going to go getting them each, I mean, first, if I get them each a little box of chocolate, half of them, they're not going to eat anyhow because they don't like them because their taste buds just aren't there yet, you know?
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, like, I bought like a bunch of Kisses and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
Hershey Kisses, Kit Kats, that stuff that I do know they like, and threw it in a bowl, and it was like another little mini Halloween stash, you know, of their favorites, and then they each just got a little like $10 gift.
Yeah, that's cute.
You know, so
yeah, like I said, I just work late, and then like I wasn't even with my daughter that day, so like you know, and I asked, "Is it gonna be my Valentine?" She said, "Yeah, Daddy." You know, that was very sweet.
Yeah. No, apparently Youssef from Belgium was my Valentine this year.
Your what?
My buddy, my pen pal, Youssef from Belgium.
Oh, Youssef. From Belgium.
Yes, because he messaged me. He was just like, "Would you be my Valentine?" I was like, "Well, I might as well be yours because I'm no one else's."
Wow. And for those who follow my Facebook feed, I did go to a ball, and I took someone with me, someone that I guess, if you want to say, for the lack of a better term, someone I was seeing for a little while. And she pulled through at the last minute. You know, it is kind of just says, "Hi, surprise! You want to go do something, you know, that requires a dress and getting your hair done and all this other stuff at the literally the last minute." And you know, and it was for the night, for what it was fucking fun. I had a blast. You know, it was decent food. There was dancing. There was gambling, which I didn't realize how good I was at playing fucking Texas Hold'em, because I cleaned up on Texas Hold'em, and I'm not a card player, but you know, just, and the funny
blackjack.
Yeah, oh yeah, well,
yes.
But the funny thing is, like, I'm playing Texas Hold'em, and then like the guy next to me was like, because my date she was kind of like helping me out, like, "Oh, you should probably do this, you should probably do that." Okay, the guy to my right, he's putting his hands down, you know, he doesn't want to play, or he's losing. And then when he busts out, or whatever they call, once again, that shows how little I play. Yeah. Then he wants to come and give me advice. Let me look at your cards, whatever. And I'm like, "You're losing. What the fuck? What advice?
He's teaching.
He's teaching.
Because that's how it works. If you can't do, you teach. Remember?
Yeah, but let me tell you. And the funny thing is, it was so many times he would tell me to do something.
I love teachers.
He would tell me to do something, and I wouldn't do it. And you know, and then she was like
"Fuck you, you just lost."
Yeah, exactly. And she goes, "You know, he's telling you to do something." I said, "Obviously, he's not a good player because he'd still be playing if he knew what the fuck."
Worrying about what I'm doing.
Yeah, if he knew what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
So you know, don't take advice from losers, people.
Well, that's hysterical.
But yeah, so I mean, you know, had a good time, dressed up. You know, I jumped on the dance floor, you know. So
did you do the blue suit that you told me about?
I did the blue suit.
Now, why is there no pictures of the blue suit? Like, there's the one picture of you two with the masks.
Well, did
nobody take a picture of you in the blue suit, or did you guys not? I mean, like, my one girl that works at the same company as you, she posted, like, a bunch of pictures, including, like, a professional picture that was taken that day.
Yeah, we just posted, I think all we had was, like, us sitting at the table, which at the time I wasn't even wearing the jacket.
Yeah.
And then the one professional photo that we took together.
Did you guys have that one done?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you gotta show me that.
Oh, it's on my Facebook. It's on my Facebook. Okay. And then the funny thing is that, so I get the suit, and look, it was a Steve Harvey suit. I'm not gonna, like, awesome. the brand name is Steve Harvey, and I said,
"Oh, perfect!
Yeah,
I love Steve Harvey. He's a great guy, man."
And so I said, and the whole thing is, quite frankly, it was the most inexpensive suit that I could find that would fit me.
Right.
You know, without going to, like, you know, the big man shop. Yeah, they got suits that'll fit me, but then they want to charge you an arm and a leg.
Right.
So then I take it to the tailor, and I ended up paying like 3 times the price of the suit to get it custom tailored. That being said, it was cut really well. For all right, she did touch the jacket, but the jacket was blousy. But that's the way that's the way that jacket was designed. But the arm sleeve length that she did do was good. You know, the lining looks good. The pants look, because the pants look like fucking Omar the tent maker. Fucking, you know, like it's meant for guys that are 6'3" and or 500 pounds.
Right.
So, but you know, so I can honestly say I have an Italian tailored suit, because the lady, I love her to death. She's, you know,
Anna DeGanchi.
Old,
throw her a shout out, man. Throw her a shout out. Anna DeGanchi
on English and Mount Reed.
Mount Reed 585-621-4482.
And I love her to death because she doesn't have the heavy old school Italian accent, but she kind of has the little bit of the what's the matter you.
Oh no, she's got it.
I cut it.
She speaks to me in half Italian, half English, like when she talks to me.
Yeah, and you
so
know,
I've known her. That's the thing too. Like I've known this woman Anna actually since I was 19. I want to say, yeah, because she's my friend's mom.
Yeah,
so
I mean, she did a fantastic job, but it's I spent more tailoring it than I did on the fucking. But I mean, that being said,
that's how it works also too for us girls too with the dresses most of the time too. Like when we get our dresses and we get them altered, usually it costs either as much, if not more.
Yeah, it fit me good. It fit. I mean, especially. I mean, I'm blown away with what she did with the pants. Yeah. The jacket, all she did to the jacket was alter the sleeves so they look right on me. I mean, the length of the jacket is just the design of the jacket. It's meant to be this ridiculously long jacket or whatever. Right. So, you know, I had, you know, and so I'm like, I need a theme. So I was looking for like bow ties or something like that. I came across an American flag bow tie. I'm like, all right, American flag will be my theme. So I bought the full face mask of the American flag, but then I cut out the eye part.
Oh, so you did that?
Yeah.
Nice.
And you know, it was at Party City. You know, the mask cost like $3 or something like that.
Yeah.
I put an American flag. I want something that I just happened to have around my house. I had an American flag as like the collar, not a I don't want to say handkerchief because it sounds like I'm not going to blow my nose in the American flag, but you know, I had a Captain America pin, the shield, the star, the American flag bow tie, American flag suspenders, which you didn't see because I wore a vest,
right.
And then I even I had Stars and Stripes socks also. So I was pulling up my legs. I was pulling up my pants for my coworkers. They were cracking up. I said, fuck it. If I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go in a theme. So you know, I have to admit that, you know, it was for what it was, of just a night, just hanging out, having fun, you know, dancing and stuff like that. I had a blast.
But it's good to see companies doing that again too, because like when I used to work for Sprint, we used to do that stuff, and then about 3 years in, they stopped doing that stuff because, like, you know, things were starting to go sour. First things to go, of course, are those kinds of perks, like doing that thing. I mean, like the first year I worked at Sprint, man, the booze cruise, legendary. I mean, like, we still, even when I get together with my ex-Sprint coworkers, one of the first conversations we have is booze cruise. Let's see, we relived that whole booze cruise all over again because it really, truly was such a blast, you know? I mean, like, and that was the thing too, because like the whole night, it wasn't just the, you know, like the boat, because like we all carried on afterwards to a bar across the street, you know? And you know it was a good night because my one buddy, the way he went into this bar was in Fairport, right? And the way he went into this bar was like he parked in the parking lot, which was behind the bar, and then you walk in this like back door or whatever. But there is still like a front entrance with a porch and everything like that. So fast forward, we had taken off and everything because he was trying to get with this girl, our buddy, and you know, and I was married at the time. You know, we're like, are you okay? Whatever, you know, all right, you know, you're good, all right. Well then we're gonna take off or whatever. And we ended up leaving. He ended up staying for a while. He struck out with a girl. He ended up staying for a little bit while longer. Bar closed down. He takes off, right? He walks out the front entrance, not remembering that there's a back entrance, right? He walks around freaking Fairport for like another 90 minutes, finally figures out like where he is in Fairport and how to get to a convenience store. And he gets to a convenience store, and then he tried to call my phone, and I didn't wake up, right? Yeah, my ex-husband, you know, sleeping right next to me at the time, apparently he heard it, didn't even bother to look to see who it was. Or you know, somebody's calling you at like 3:30 in the morning. You might want to check and see. And
yeah,
like,
3:30 in the morning, obviously an
I would
emergency.
be just checking out of curiosity, just be like, bitch, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like, this better not be no bitch calling my man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, he had no suspicion, no nothing, no curiosity. He heard the phone going off, didn't think anything of it. It was my buddy Vinny trying to call me from the freaking convenience store to let me know that he was, you know, at this convenience store in Fairport and really didn't know how to get back to his truck or the bar. So, and then he ended up explaining it to somebody, and somebody took him something, like they were like, oh, I know where you were, and they ended up taking him back to his truck or whatever, and then he slept in his truck for a little bit and then drove back to where he was living, you know, but yeah. So you know that was a legendary thing. You got somebody stumbling around Fairport for 90 minutes trying to figure out where exactly they are.
Don't miss those days.
Well, that was a while ago too. I mean, again, I'm talking early. That was about late 2000s. So,
all right,
and then 2000s tonight. Let's see what you got here.
No, so the last. I mean, I guess I kind of have other nerdy news. I'll shotgun through that. But okay, so I know obviously. Well, we spoke about Lady Gaga at the Super Bowl last episode.
I actually haven't seen the Lady Gaga Metallica performance. I've heard about it.
Yeah, and what I like, I think it's kind of funny that the song. Now, okay, Lady Gaga, to the best of my knowledge, never had like a drug problem.
Right.
But the song is about like a pop star who's like desperate for attention. And so, but in the song, it's also about her being self-destructive with drugs. So it's not, the song is really more towards like a Miley Cyrus or Lindsay Lohan type of person where they're self-destructive and more Lindsay Lohan because Miley Cyrus acting stupid. She's not
turning it around these
days.
days.
Yeah, she's not.
They're actually talking about Lindsay Lohan is up too. You know how they just did the Beauty and the Beast, the reboot of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, she wants to be
Ariel, and they're saying that she's actually got a good chance at it. Well, she might.
Her face looks caved in.
But she's right now.
Yeah, she has way too much work on her face, and I mean, okay, look.
Yeah, I was saying she's got plastic surgery on her face. But I saw the picture of her with the refugee family, or not the refugee family. I think it was I forgot what family it was, but it was the picture that was like, I posted it on Facebook because I was like, is this for real? Mm-hmm. About her wanting to talk to Trump about how to solve the
refugee problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look,
but she actually looked pretty healthy.
If this was 10 years ago, when she was oddly enough working for Disney, when she did like the Herbie movie, like right before she fell off the cliff. If this was like I'm just throwing a number out there. I'm assuming that was about 10 years ago,
right?
When she did the Herbie Fully Loaded, she was still marketable. She kind of fell off, and especially now her face, like she could play like a sister or something like that. But I can't see her as the main role.
No,
I think with Beauty and the Beast, they got Emma Watson, and I wouldn't think Emma Watson being Beauty and the Beast.
I didn't think her either at first.
But I mean, in my mind, I would just get a nobody. Get someone, make someone a star.
Yeah.
Get just a pretty redhead, and then who knows if they're even going to get a redhead.
But so you can dye hair. I mean, like,
yeah. I mean, you could get. My thing is, I mean, I don't know. But then again, they might get someone to be the star because I guess like I said, they didn't have to get Emma Watson. They could have gotten anybody. So I guess they could get a star, but it's not going to be.
How old is she, Emma Watson? Do you think?
At
least mid-20s, at least.
Yeah.
If not late 20s.
Because the Harry Potter movies were in the 2000s.
Right.
And she had to be about 10 or 12 when they started those movies. So let's say she was like, I want to assume that she was probably like 12 in 2000. So she's probably 22 in 2010. And then another 7 years. She's about 29, 30.
Right. And she does pass for Belle. I mean, like, that's the thing. And
she's a good enough actress where she can pass for Belle.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, most of these Disney princesses, like, if you actually look at it, though, they're supposed to be like 15, 16, 17, 18. Like, they're supposed to be, and I know they're pulling like that 90210 type thing where it's like, they're 18,
30 years old, 35 in high school.
Yeah, exactly. Because like 90210 was like what, like maybe like 20 years ago, and then you got Luke Perry on the freaking cover of AARP now. But he was like at least 30 something when he was playing a teenager back then. And all that. So, I mean, like, in that respect, I could kind of see it, but I don't know. I mean, excuse me. I do like to at least see that the stuff that I at least see, that she's looking kind of healthier these days. And she's looking like she's kind of got her shit together these days, at least. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do, too, that, like, I think she's pulled a lot away from her parents. Because they look like her parents were definitely hot messes as well.
Yeah.
So when you got a hot mess leading a hot mess, what are you going to get?
Why won't you come to your senses?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, and then
she might have. That's the whole thing.
And one other, about the Lady Gaga Metallica thing is that they had the girl from Orange is the New Black.
Which one?
The one that used to be a guy. I can't.
Oh, okay. Well, I know who you're talking about.
She had introduced the Lady Gaga Metallica performance, and she had just said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Lady Gaga." And it's like, not even Metallica.
Oh.
And one isn't even if you're saying something as simple as that, don't they give you some sort of like cue card or something like that? And then, it's like a slap in the face because Metallica is like literally like
They've been in the
one of the biggest
double the time
bands
that
in the
Lady
world.
Gaga's been in the, I mean, like,
Yeah,
Gaga's been around for a long time, and Metallica's been around probably at least double that.
Yeah, I mean, like,
so you gotta just at least pay respect just for that fact alone.
I'm trying to remember. Like, I want to, and I don't know if I'm getting the numbers. I think they're like, and I'm not exaggerating, like 50 times platinum. Like if you add all like I want to say they sold over 50 million albums, and because a million albums is platinum. And I want to say like the one album everyone knows from Metallica is the Black Album, the one with Enter Sandman. Like Enter Sandman is still on the Billboard.
I thought you were going to say Ride the Lightning.
Well, no.
Like as soon as you said that in my head, I said like.
Well, I'm just saying is
the
casual fans all know Exit Live.
Yeah.
So the Black Album has like been on the fucking Billboard Top 100 like since it's come out. Like since 1991, it's been somewhere on the Billboard Top 100.
Right.
Since for the past 20 something years.
That's crazy.
And of course, Beatles and Michael Jackson and stuff like that. Those are always like guys that are always on the. But that's the whole thing. That's the level we're talking about. We're talking about level of Beatles and Michael Jackson and Metallica. Okay, maybe Metallica isn't at that level of Beatles and Michael Jackson, but it's kind of it's just disrespectful for you to go. Here's Lady Gaga, like Metallica is like the fucking backup band. Like here's Lady Gaga and four guys. No, it's not. Give them the fucking respect. I mean,
I think they play guitar.
Yeah, here's some guys. Lady Gaga and some dudes, and I mean, I don't, because obviously
like trying to introduce Weird Al, like, hey, here's some dude on a ukulele.
Yeah. It's, and I don't,
an accordion. I'm sorry.
I mean, I want to say it's not. I keep wanting to say Courtney Cox. I know that's not the Courtney Cox. That actress. So, like I said, she used to be a guy. Free.
Yeah, that was obviously not Courtney Cox, by the way.
Well, no, not Courtney Cox, but I mean, I'm trying to. I know that it's on the tip of my tongue.
You're talking about the transgender.
The transgender actress from Orange Is the New Black.
Pretty much anybody knows who you're talking about.
Yeah.
If they watch Orange Is the New Black because it's pretty hard character.
And she's also going to be on a show on the CB. Well, it's the CBS Seed network, which is like they're doing like CBS is doing like an online network now.
Yeah.
Sort of like a Netflix sort of a deal where they're like one of the first shows is going to be like it's an offshoot of the Good Wife and it's called like The Good Fight. And she's going to be on that show, and they're I guess since it's going to be like since it's like a Netflix type show, you can curse like so they're taking like CBS shows but that being said, I mean she has a career and obviously I mean I don't want to cast any dispersions. Obviously, I think she would be more excited about seeing Lady Gaga than seeing Metallica.
Well,
I mean I think that's a safe bet to say without trying to without being offensive or trying to say something about her, but give respect where respect's due, and don't, for her to say, here's Lady Gaga and not even mention fucking Metallica to me, it was just like, it's like I don't think she did it to be intentionally mean, but it's a slap in the face.
Right.
It's,
because definitely a mistake.
Yeah. If the shoe was on the other foot, I'm pretty sure people would have pissed off this, ladies and gentlemen, Metallica, and Lady Gaga came out and no one acknowledged that it was Lady Gaga on stage. I'm pretty sure, people would have been pissed off.
And then, it was a pre-planned performance where it was supposed to be known that Metallica was there?
Oh, yeah, no.
How they do that sometimes, too. Where,
like a surprise, yeah.
Exactly, and then somebody walks out or whatever, and they're like, oh, shit.
Well, being a Metallica fan, obviously, it was all over. If you're a Metallica fan, it was...
What was his performance? I forgot. Like, what was the event?
It was the Grammys. Oh. Yeah, it was the Grammys. And then
they would know who
exactly.
performing for the Grammys.
And it's the Grammys, and they had announced it. Once again, maybe it's because my little corner of the internet is Metallica stuff.
Right.
So maybe other people may have not known that Metallica was going to play with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
But even the most casual fan, if you say Lady Gaga and Metallica, even the most casual person would go, "Oh, okay, Lady Gaga's playing with the Enter Sandman guys." I found it just a little insulting. And like I said, if the shoe was on the other foot and they said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Metallica," and then Lady Gaga came out, Lady Gaga fans would be fucking pissed off. Like, how dare you not introduce her? So I don't know, that kind of bothered me. And then, oddly enough, Metallica's rival band Megadeth, they actually won Best Metal Album or Best Metal Performance. But to kind of, it's kind of fucked up to rub salt in the wound when Megadeth, the guys from Megadeth, which is really, it's just two guys from the original band and two other guys that they added to the band.
Right.
When they came up to play, the house band started playing Metallica music. They were playing Master of Puppets, which is like Metallica's second biggest song. So it's sort of like fucked up. Like, here's these guys, they won the Grammy for best fucking metal performance, and you're gonna play their rival band's music when they come up on stage, which is it's really fucked up. And so the joke is when Metallica started playing, the microphone wasn't on. Like, Lady Gaga's mic was working, but James Hetfield's, the lead singer of Metallica's mic wasn't on. So the joke was, it was Dave Mustaine, the lead singer of Megadeth. He's backstage and he pulled the cord. If you're gonna fucking play Metallica, okay, I'll show you what to do with Metallica and pull the fucking plug. So so that being said, and it was a good performance, and I give Lady Gaga her respect. But Lady Gaga, like, she just put out like a fucking country album. She was with Tony Bennett like a year ago doing like old standards with Tony Bennett. So I give her respect where, yes, she's known for being a pop star, but she's expanded herself to doing, work, singing with Tony Bennett, putting out I'm pretty sure it's more like pop country, but putting out a country themed album, going out on stage and playing with Metallica. I could sit back and, even though I'm not a fan of her music, give her respect and go, hey, she's trying to hit all fucking notes, she's trying to hit all kind of genres, and it expands her fan base. So, and I enjoyed her performance at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, she seems like she's more of a real performer than a lot of the other ones are.
Yeah, and and that was a fucking, that was a feat for her to do all the shit that she did. I mean, okay, but the beginning might have been staged, but still, to fucking run around and do this and go that and up and down and sing.
That was great. That was the thing. Like, I didn't mean to like put it down by saying like that was pre-recorded or anything like that. I was just like reading that to you. Yeah. But I mean, like, really seriously, I thought that show was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, that's a liability to have her jump off.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like, I honestly, like, I can say that I sat back and watched that thing and was thoroughly entertained from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. The politicalness was kept down to just the patriotism, which I just was very happy about. Because, like, honestly, like, at first I was just like, oh fuck, what the hell is she gonna do? Yeah,
I was waiting at any minute that she was gonna. I thought she was gonna stop mid song and like,
all of a sudden she's gonna be like, like, I have something to say. It's like, fuck. It was going so good, but I mean, like, that was the thing. Like, it just went so good from beginning to end, and really thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell too, like, I'm sure there were certain parts that got piped in or whatever, but for the majority of it,
that's par for the course. Yeah, it's par for the course to have backup.
Exactly, it's par for the course. But you could tell that she was like trying to do as much of it that she could, and like that alone, you gotta kind of give respect for, because like this day and age, especially, like, they're too quick to kind of come on with the
with the backing tracks and stuff like that. All right, so let's shotgun through the nerdy news, and I'll just Matt Reeves. Okay, so
this is all new information to me before. So.
Ben Affleck has pulled out of being the director.
Which I didn't even know. When did
movie.
that go down?
This was about a week ago. But what
Affleck made a kick-ass Batman. He really did. I was actually looking forward to him doing it again.
He's contractually obligated to be in the next movie. He unless if he pulls out now, they're going to sue him. But he wanted to direct.
All right.
And he said it a couple times in interviews. If I don't like the script, I'm not going to direct it. Like, you own me for one more movie. Right. Basically, that's, and he didn't say it like that, but for all intents and purposes, he's contractually obligated to. He was contractually obligated to do 3 movies: Batman v Superman. He was in Suicide Squad for 2 minutes, and now no, excuse me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It was 4 movies. It was 3 movies plus the cameo in Suicide Squad, because he has to be in Justice League. He had to be in Batman v Superman. Oh no, yeah, then this movie, and then Suicide Squad was just a cameo.
Right.
But so he's gonna do the Batman movie, and it's called The Batman. That's what they're gonna call it, The Batman.
The Batman.
Yeah, just to kind of separate it from the other ones. But he said,
if
the script, The Batman. Coming soon.
Yes,
teaser.
That is a teaser, actually.
But that being said, he had basically said, if I like the script, and at Warner Brothers, for some reason, they keep fucking shooting themselves in the foot. And I guess they gave him a script that he didn't want, and so he pulled out. He said, "I'm not going to direct." So then this other guy, Matt Reeves, who I'm not I'm not super familiar with his work, but he's mostly known for doing the more recent Battle for the Planet of the Apes and Rise of the Planet of the Apes and whatever the Planet of the Apes. Those are good movies for the most part. I've only seen I think he's done 3 of them, and I've seen 2 of them, and I saw them once, and I enjoyed them when I watched them. I'm not exactly running out and buying the DVD, but I'm like, when they said he was going to take over, I said, okay, I could get that. He took one other property, an old property like Planet of the Apes, and made it kind of, hip and up to date. Yeah. And they said, okay, now he's pulled out. Now Matt Reeves is pulled out. So like now we really, and there's a deadline for this movie. This movie is supposed to start filming like now, so it can be out in 2019 or something like that. So
yeah, because they got their whole timeline planned for like the next 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, they lost a director. They've already had like 2 directors leave the Flash movie. There's speculation that the Wonder Woman movie isn't going to be that great. Like someone leaked, like someone from there's allegedly someone who's inside Warner Brothers Studios who's seen the movie and like did a whole like Reddit about how the movie sucks or whatever.
That's a bummer.
But then again,
because a lot of us ladies are counting on that one.
Yeah, that's supposed to be. This is supposed to be.
This is supposed to be
your movie,
our Iron Man, and yeah.
I think it's. I don't know. I think I'm gonna. I love Gal Gadot. I never would have thought of me liking her, but her part in Batman v Superman was fucking excellent.
Yeah.
She's pretty active on social media. And I mean, she's not the skinny girl she was when they first announced her. She was fucking 90 pounds soaking wet. Yeah. She's put tone on her. She's very, very charming, and I like the idea they put in. And the trailer looks fucking awesome. Like the trailer, like I got more excited when I saw that trailer than when I saw the trailer for Batman v Superman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, this looks good.
Which I told you too, like for me with that movie there, Batman vs Superman, like when I was dumb, like I didn't want to watch it, so I just did it. And then I did check out, I was very excited about Suicide Squad, so I watched Suicide Squad, and then that was like really my first glimpse at like seeing Affleck as as Batman and everything like that. And that was the thing, like I had a hard time with the Bruce Wayne scene though, and Suicide Squad, because I was saying that I was like, like he played an awesome Batman, but he played such a shit Bruce Wayne. I was having such a hard time buying him as Bruce Wayne, and and a couple people that told me, they were just like, well, you didn't see Batman versus Superman, that's your problem, like you needed to see it. And I really thought it was gonna be a hard watch. Like when I decided I'm gonna watch it, like first off, it's a 2.5 hour movie,
yeah. Okay, so the deluxe version.
Oh god, for me to even just think about sitting down for a 2.5 hour movie like that, it does take some planning to begin with and everything. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna knock out about an hour of it tonight, an hour of it tomorrow night, and a half hour the night after. And I got sucked in. And I watched the whole thing from beginning to end. Like I paused like one time to take a break. Exactly. And I ended up watching the whole thing, and I was just captivated. And honestly, watching him play, both like Batman and Bruce Wayne and everything like that, I really dug him in the role. Like I really did. Like that. I was really surprised too by how well Batman versus Superman was. I mean, like it was very. But like you pointed out to me too, you're like, well, a lot of people didn't like Lex Luthor or this and that. I'm like, well, I had no expectations, so I loved it.
Yeah.
It was just great.
People hated. I liked it.
It was a great ride
because I liked that they were making fun of Max Landis. Like this was a whole, because Max Landis has like straight out put out videos like talking shit about Superman and like how, because he didn't like what they did in the early 90s when they did the death of excuse me. I keep saying Batman. I meant to say Superman. Max Landis did videos about how bad the comics were about the death of Superman.
I remember the big death of Superman.
And he did videos goofing on him, and he did like a half an hour video like bad mouthing it. The funny thing is, one of the artists for the death of Superman was someone I had on the show as a guest, John Bogdanov. And Bogdanov, and I follow him and I follow his son. And the funny thing is, his son, like, it's funny, I still have a grudge and all this shit. His son loves Max Landis, and again, the father really doesn't care. But it's funny, but for some reason, the fanboy in me is like, don't you dare talk bad about the death of Superman, and I kind of like that they kind of use that as a template to kind of make fun of Max Landis. But, it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I expected, but I like what they did with it. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not going to shit on, this weird, quirky Lex Luthor who's annoying, but also brilliant at the same time, because that's what Max Landis is. Max Landis is annoying, but brilliant.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, and plus, thankfully you saw the director's cut, because theatrical cut, I saw the theatrical cut twice. I saw it and I was like, let me go see it again just to make sure. So let me give it a second shot. And I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as I wanted to like it. Then when I saw the director's cut, I'm like, oh, okay. The director's cut fills so many more of the gaps.
I didn't realize I was watching.
Yeah, and that's.
I watched the 2.5
No, it's good. Thank goodness you didn't waste your
so
time with the theatrical one, because you probably would not have liked it. You probably would have not given it a second try or whatever. I went because I love Batman, so I'm like, I gotta, and even people who hate that fucking movie say Ben Affleck was good as Batman.
He was.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he really pulled it off.
Yeah, and how could you not love Wonder Woman in that movie? Also,
Yeah.
The only problem people had about Wonder Woman is her music, because they kept telling me like that drums and guitar like.
Yeah.
And was it a little overdone? Yeah, but at least it's different. I mean,
Right. It's a comic book movie, so
I dug
like,
it.
it's supposed to be a little overdone.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah,
It's
it's an alien and a billionaire with a bunch of fucking gadgets and a fucking Amazon from a hidden island, made out of clay or whatever. It's a fucking fighting a fucking monster that's another alien mixed with the blood of a billionaire. It's a weird fucking movie, but I dug it. And so that being said, I'm kind of worried about where the direction is going to go with this movie. It's very likely, if no other takers, it's probably going to be Zack Snyder doing the Batman movie.
The script's shit. Then I mean, like, they're already saying the script is shit.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like, to me already, I'm all like, okay, I don't really want to see it.
Yeah, even
Ben
Affleck Ben Affleck washing his hands is sort of the giant red flag. Because why wouldn't but then again, it's like Warner Brothers. Why are you shooting yourself in the foot? Let Ben Affleck do his own Batman movie. Because I'm pretty sure Ben Affleck will respect the fact that this is part of a larger universe, and you kind of have to have hints and nods to other movies that are going to be in the franchise. I think Ben Affleck could give us a movie that plays well with others, but is its own awesome fucking thing. And
if you look at anything that the man's directed at this point too, like everything that he's touched at this point has been really good on that.
Yes, I can't. I
just watched The Accountant actually about 3 weeks ago. Have you seen that movie?
The funny thing is that was the last movie I saw at the $2 movie theater.
Was it really?
But I had to leave because I had to go back to work. I had a long lunch break, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll go see The Accountant. But I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I dug it.
Yeah, no, you definitely got to catch the end of that. What else you got?
Okay, what else? Okay.
Suicide Squad. Oh, we were talking about that.
Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
I saw the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, was it any good?
It's if you like the Lego movie, it's not as good as the Lego movie. Okay. I'll just put it like that.
My house, so.
And as much as I love Batman, even I will say it's not as good as the Lego movie.
Okay.
But for what it is and what it was, it's a good movie. And what I like is that it incorporated every version of Batman. From the Michael Keaton Batman to the Christian Bale Batman to fucking Adam West to even the Ben Affleck Batman. It's as if all those universes were all one universe, except they put it on. Yeah, so there's references to all of them. I mean, they brought out fucking B-list and D-list fucking characters that will never ever get any kind of other screen time other than this movie. But it was very fun. It got very creative. And then one of the things with the Lego franchise is that Lego owns a lot of owns licenses to a lot of things.
Right.
So this is not just a Batman movie. There's I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but there's like Harry Potter characters in this. There's fucking Clash of the Titans, that old movie.
Well, they even did that too in the Lego movie. Like, they brought in some other kids.
Yeah,
they had Superman, remember? And they had Green Lantern.
And so,
I'm trying to think who else they had in there too. That was like, there was like the basketball players.
There's in this one there's like Wizard of Oz,
right?
Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and this is in the Batman movie.
Yeah, so they somehow incorporate these characters.
Yeah, Lego gets away with it because Lego has the licenses, even though Warner Brothers.
Lego universe, really. Yeah, I mean, like, so really, if you think about it, they're all kind of part of the universe because they're all part of the Lego universe.
I mean, and technically, if they really wanted to, they could have had Marvel characters if they wanted to.
Totally.
But I mean, there's it would have probably been a big legal.
No, I don't think they have Marvel.
No, Lego has. There's a bunch of Marvel video games. Lego Marvel video games. They have I'm saying
they don't have Iron Man. They don't have Iron Man. They don't have Captain America. They don't have.
They have Lego Avenger video games.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about video games. But I'm saying like the
sets.
if you buy sets, you can get I know you can get Spider-Man.
But I mean,
because I'm thinking of what's been through my door.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just say that because if they have the license to make the video game, they have the license for it. Period.
That makes sense.
So that's why. But I mean, technically, they would have been shooting themselves in the foot because Marvel probably would have made a big stink about it. But but for what it was, the Batman movie, the Batman Lego movie is good. Go see it, even if it's been out for a while. Even if it's at a matinee, go see it in the matinee because it was very, very fun. Like I said, I wouldn't say it's as good as the Lego movie though. The Lego movie was excellent. Like if the Lego movie's a 9.5, Lego Batman is like a 9.2 or a 9. You know what I'm saying? Like it's great. It's a great fucking movie, just not as good. Let me see. All right, so do you care at all for like the new Avenger movies? Have you? Well, once again, this is maybe because it's big in my world. They're doing the Infinity War movie, which is going to be the crossover of the Avengers meeting Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're even bringing in Spider-Man, which is technically owned by Sony, in this movie. They did a video, and once again, I don't know if it came across your feed, and it's literally Robert Downey Jr., the kid that's going to play Spider-Man in the Spider-Man movies, Tom Holland, and fucking Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy. Every Marvel character, and technically even the ones that had the Netflix shows, Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, they're going to be in this movie also. So it's like, this is going to be the fucking ultimate Marvel movie where technically what they claim is every single character that is still alive is going to be in this movie. And not to say, hey, you can technically bring back people that weren't alive if it's a flashback or something like that, or hologram or something like that. So you can, for those, spoiler alert, when Coulson dies in part one, the guy who ends up doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but he dies in the first Avengers movie. You know what I'm saying? But then they gave him his own show. But technically, they could have him in this movie. It might be a flashback, or it might be a hologram, or something to that effect, or who knows? Maybe they'll bring him back into the movie universe. But I mean, that's just speculating. But so we, but I'm fucking, my panties are moist because I want to see this movie. And not to mention that I was a fan of the comics, the Infinity War comics, and I remember it was 1991, and me and my friends that summer fucking collected, because every comic crossed over with every other comic. And so even if you couldn't afford a comic, your friend bought one. So I'm like, okay, let me trade with you and you trade with me so we can read what happens. And they had fold out posters, and we put the posters on our wall and stuff like that. It was a big event. Like the summer of 91. So it might have been 90 or 91. But that was a huge thing that summer. And to see that it's not the exact same story, but seeing that it's coming to the big screen, and it's literally going to be every single all 16 movies that have led up to this is going to have some sort of effect on this one big major movie. My head's going to fucking explode.
That's pretty cool, actually. But
so yeah, that's
sweet.
And then also just because I have it in my notes, the DC movie, our animated movie, the Teen Titans, the Judas Contract. DC animated movies are top of the fucking line. They're really good, the DC animated ones. And they're doing the Teen Titan movies.
This is like the Teen Titans, like what my kids are watching.
No. This one is this serious grown-up version of the Teen Titans, but it's still
live action.
No. I mean, no. It's still animated, but it's not a cartoon that you're gonna have your kids watch. It's you have to be like 13, or it's like a PG-13.
I'm just used to Teen Titans Go, so like I guess I didn't realize that there was something else besides.
Well, no, that's the whole thing. No, I mean, this is an animated movie. Now, the more recent DC animated movies are all kind of taking place in the same universe. So even though you've had Batman and Superman running around, you still had the Teen Titans off to the side doing their own thing. But the Teen Titans, this cartoon, this isn't kiddie cartoon. This is cartoon where there's violence and people will get shot. And you may have an occasional shit, like literally like someone saying shit.
But is it the same characters?
Oh no, yes, the same characters. You got Robin, you got Raven.
So are they older?
Yeah, they're more teens. They're teens. Like they're 18, 19.
They don't really seem like they're teens on the show.
Yeah, they're more like kids. Yeah. But yeah, it's so the one thing is that they're not going to have Cyborg, because in this the new iteration of the Justice League, Cyborg's in the Justice League. He's already he's like a grown up. So you're not going to have Cyborg, and I love Cyborg, but
he always kind of seems like, even in the cartoon, like he's a little bit of a slow adult.
So he gets along so well with kids. But yeah, so unfortunately it won't have Cyborg, but it does have Beast Boy, Robin, Raven, Starfire, and there's like one or two other characters, and there's a character that, and I can't believe, Jericho, who's a character that technically died in the comics, which I think this movie, spoiler alert, they bring him. He's in the movie, but in the comics he dies. So I think him dying is part of this movie, and I hope that's not really a spoiler.
Right.
And then
it's not a spoiler, it's speculation.
To sort of connect the universes, Jericho's father is this character named Deathstroke, who is rumored to be when Ben Affleck does when Ben Affleck does the Batman movie, it's going to be Deathstroke. Deathstroke's going to be the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Who's like an assassin, and he got one eye shot out, so he wears a mask and only sees one eye. And actually, he's in. If you watch, before Teen Titans Go, there was a Teen Titans cartoon that was not as kiddie, but not as adult, and he's sort of the bad guy because his son was a part of the Teen Titans, got killed, and now his whole goal in life now is to kill all the Teen Titans. So that's part of him being a bad guy because his son was a Teen Titan at one point. But he's also supposed to be the new bad guy in the new Batman movie. So everything is all kind of merging together. So I think that's it with the nerdy news.
Some of the people is it some of the people that work on the cartoon that are working on this too? Or?
Yeah. Well, I think all the voices. Okay. I think all the people who've done the voices keep coming back.
Well, more so the writers is really what I'm thinking because like. One thing I really like about the cartoon is that they do, like a lot more cartoons do keep this in mind nowadays, but not all of them do, that the parents are going to be sitting there watching with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
So like they're one that like them and Phineas and Ferb. Like Phineas and Ferb hugely does this. But Teen Titans also, Teen Titans Go, I think really does where they really do tie in the adult jokes with the kid jokes very well so that it's like you can be either 5 or 50 and still get just as much enjoyment.
Well, just once again, just this movie that's coming out, the Judas Contract, is adult.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But like,
this isn't going to be on Cartoon Network anytime soon.
But I'm just saying, like, their writing, like, is so creative. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just like it caters to adults. Like, I'm saying, like, I'm hoping it's going to still stay along that kind of. Like, I'm saying, like, the adult jokes that they make, like, they kind of follow kind of, like, a certain wave. And I'm kind of hoping that they're going to stay on that wave, is basically what I'm saying. Like, I'm hoping that it's going to be kind of, like, I mean, like, I understand it's for adults or whatever like that, but I'm just hoping that that mindset of who they kind of cater to watching the kids one.
I honestly, this one's not, it's not comedy. It's straight action.
So you're like, don't expect to laugh at all.
Yeah, no, there might be the occasional just like
I probably won't like it then.
Just a little levity, but I think it's not.
How I am with gore. Like I'm not one for like blood.
I mean,
gore,
this isn't gore, but people
and, like, violence is okay as long as it's just not too gory.
There's going to be a lot of kung fu and flipping and hitting people with sticks and Deathstroke has a sword and a gun. I mean, he's once again it has to do with the death of his kid. So it's not the kid friendly Teen Titans. That's sort of
like I was okay with Deadpool. Deadpool was starting to get my stomach just tiny queasy. But I had to look away a few times and stuff like that because I'm sensitive to that stuff and everything. But like I was good with Deadpool, you know. And then there was this movie. I don't even know what it was, but it was like an old movie even too. It was like from like I think like at least 10 years old. But I ended up catching this one scene. I had to sit there and watch through it too because I wasn't the only one watching it. And they had taped this guy's hands to the steering wheel, right, with his fingers all extended. And then the guy, it was Denzel Washington, started cutting them off, like one by one.
Man on fire.
I almost lost my shit.
Yeah.
Like, I seriously almost threw, I was like, we gotta turn this, I'm like, we had to turn it off. We did have to turn it off, because like, it showed, like, I was done.
Now, did you see that movie from the beginning?
No, I just happened to catch that part of it, and then I was just like, I can't watch this shit.
True story. True story, and is when the year that movie came out.
Yeah.
The main stars of the movie are Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, I was gonna say I pointed that out too. I was just like, that's the girl from 50 Shades, and all of a sudden my one friend's just like, I can't watch this anymore. He's like, that's the same girl. I'm like, yeah. He's like, but she's a kid. I'm like, yeah.
She was always very mature for her age.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Dakota Fanning and Denzel Washington, and I don't think it's really spoiling. Like I said, my mom wanted to see this movie.
Yeah.
Because it looked like it's about a guy. Denzel Washington's a bodyguard.
What is it called?
Man on Fire.
Thank you.
And so her.
That's the one with Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony.
I thought it was John Leguizamo. And I should have stuck with Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony at first.
Mark Anthony is her father.
No, it's John Leguizamo.
And it's the very real world of what goes on in Mexico is people that are rich. There's a big industry of people who kidnap their kids and hold them for ransom. That's their thing. So they hired Denzel Washington, who was like ex-CIA sort of a deal, but then like he had done something in the past, like he was like dishonorably discharged.
I'll say he was in trouble.
He did something wrong, and so that's sort of like his ghosts kind of haunt him with that, and he becomes a bit of an alcoholic. And so they hire him down in Mexico to protect Dakota Fanning, going to school, like a little Catholic school, whatever. So the beginning part of the movie, like the first half of the movie, you'll love because it's almost it's a very touching story about a guy taking care of a little girl.
Yeah.
And
I watched like the middle half hour, like an hour in, the middle half hour there.
And my mom thought that's what the movie was going to be about. And my mom loves the first half of the movie because it's very sweet.
She's like, "Oh, that's gonna be about such a nice, loving relationship."
Yeah, you know,
between a man or a woman and her, or a girl and her man.
Bodyguard, yeah. And so, and his name, his last name is
like a really bad movie.
His last name is Carisi. So through the movie, she calls him her Carisi Bear. So it's a very, very sweet movie.
All right.
Until they kidnap her, and you know, like he takes a bullet and all this other stuff, but they still kidnap her. And then he flips his shit and turns into like ex-CIA, taken, like, you know, I have a very certain set of skills or whatever. So the second half of the movie is fucking horribly gross and you know, now it's time for the guys to, like, you know, he shoves a fucking grenade up a guy's ass, he cuts the other guy's fingers off. You know, it's funny, the second half of that movie is so opposite from the first half, but the first half is like all lovey-dovey, and then once that kid gets taken, it becomes super ultra violent. And so the funny thing is my mom hated this. I didn't want to go see it. I'm like, oh, Ma, why the fuck you want to see this? You know, I'm like, it was like her birthday. I'm like, okay, Ma, all right, I love you, I'll take you. You know, and then halfway during the movie, I'm like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. Oh my god.
So she's probably like, I want to get out of here. Like me, yeah.
My mom's
like,
literally.
I can't watch this anymore.
Yeah, she's literally covering her eyes watching the movie. So,
no, you know what I'm loving though on Friday nights right now?
What's that?
And I think it's True TV. I want to say they do it. They do the live PD now. Have you watched that?
Live PD.
Live PD. It's like cops, but it's live.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's some good shit. Absolutely, some good shit. I love it. And they usually do it. Like, that's the thing. In order for them to keep it live, they're usually like got like four. You have to
you have to have a whole bunch of stuff going on at once.
Yeah, so they're running with like 4 different cities all at once, and then they're flipping back and forth between what's going on in different places and stuff. It's great. It's good times.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yes. Awesome. It fills the void right now. And like that's the thing. I'm waiting right now for June. For Orange is the New Black, of course. So that I can wait another fucking year. You know, because I'll binge watch it all in a day and a half and then wait another whole goddamn year. But then I just ended it with the Royals. That was great. You probably
I haven't.
You should watch that one. It is so damn
everybody's good. You know what everyone's loving it right now? And I've never seen an episode, Shameless.
I do love Shameless.
Everybody.
I've loved Shameless since before everybody was all up about Shameless, man.
Yeah.
I've been watching
I've never seen one episode, but everyone keeps talking about it. You know,
I mean, like, incredibly good. What's his name? William
H. Macy.
Like, you'll never watch Curious George again the same, ever. Like, anytime your kid's watching Curious George and he's reading in the background, you're just going to be like, fuck, freaking Gallagher. I mean, like, you just can't get past it. Because he really does. He plays such a good asshole. You know? But, like, that's the thing. Like, this guy, Frank Gallagher, is, like, such a scumbag and everything like that. But, yeah, really, even though for him being such a dirtbag and everything, he's really genuinely and smart as shit, you know, at the same time. Like, he's this lowlife and makes all these horrible decisions. And, you know, I mean, I'm talking, like, drugs, you know, all of it. You know, crime, drugs, all of it. Just, I mean, again, the show is called Shameless. So, you know, and let me tell you, too, there's a lot of shit in that show that you have never seen elsewhere. I mean,
that's what I keep hearing. I was like, you know, it's very graphic and there's a lot of weird sex and shit like that.
But it is so good. I mean, like, it's just the way that they just draw you into these characters. It's like that you generally emphasize with most of them, you know, and genuinely like most of them. It's really well written.
I mean, since I haven't had cable for a while, it's like it's sort of like I don't watch. You know what?
You gotta get this app called Showbox, which is not an approved app. But still, if you Google it, you can. I mean, like, it's real easy.
Well, I mean, you still need Wi-Fi though. That's all, I mean, I don't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you do. But you know what though? When you're on Wi-Fi, you can download stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So you can go on and you can like be on somebody's Wi-Fi or be at the library or whatever like that. Get on the Wi-Fi, download some stuff down to your phone and then watch it later.
Well, there's always just good old fashioned Pirate Bay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I don't know. That's what I use though.
Like,
I use the Showbox. Like Showbox for me is for the couple of stations that I don't like. For instance, I don't have Showtime on my cable. I got HBO, but I don't have Showtime. Mm-hmm. So like that's how I watch Shameless. Yeah, because it will be out the following.
The makers
morning.
of Two Strangers One Podcast do not.
Yes,
we do not condone.
No, not at all. Pirating is bad because especially it's this.
But I'm just saying, for people in other countries who don't have access to American channels, that's why so much is available. Because like I keep seeing now, and this show's gone a lot longer than I expected to. But how long have you we're like an hour and a half in already.
Sorry.
Just tradition, just like the other
if
episodes.
You're still with us, thanks, man. Oscar probably checked out freaking like the first time you're like, hey, Jen's here. He's probably like, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, it's because like the big thing now is like everyone's getting like the Fire Stick, the Amazon Fire Stick.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you go and you add. Now the Fire Stick itself costs like $50.
Okay.
And there's people out there that they put an app on it, and then they'll sell you the app for like they'll sell you the Fire Stick with the app on it for like $100. And like the people now if you're like absolutely not a tech savvy person at all, okay, maybe you're getting a deal or whatever. But it's like all the person's doing is putting an app on something. Like
right.
They're not fucking like I see ads for it, and then I hear people like, oh, I bought a jailbroken Amazon stick. No one jailbroke anything. They're not doing it. They're putting a fucking app on it. That's all they're doing. They're taking something. It would be like saying, like, if you gave me your phone, like, oh, I could get you Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, asshole. Anybody can put Facebook on it. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing anything special, and it's certainly not $50 worth of profit for you if you bought a Amazon Fire Stick for $50 and you're selling for $100 because you put a fucking and I see them advertised because like I belong to like online communities on Facebook, like right. Buy and sell, and like, oh, jailbroken $100 Fire Stick or $60 Fire. Yeah, you bought it for $50 and you charge another $20 to put a fucking app on. That you're not doing you're not changing the world. And then even then, the apps are only really maintained because there are communities online that organize the files because there are people in other countries who don't have access to our shows.
Right.
So they want to watch our shows. The minute that community goes away or something else happens, that the Fire Stick goes to shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's interesting and I've played with it and whatever. And once again, pirating is wrong, people.
Yes, absolutely.
But,
we do not condone it.
It's not like
Allegedly, I have an app.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I'm saying, it's just a service. I'm just saying is like for people out there, if you're halfway tech savvy, if you can install an app on your phone, you can install an app on your Fire Stick. Just go on Amazon or whatever, go on eBay and buy a fucking Fire Stick. Don't pay $50 to have someone do something that you could do yourself. That's just my opinion. If you're gonna bootleg yourself, don't support somebody else to bootleg.
I wouldn't give up the cable though too, because then like I would lose things like, for instance, my Sabres. You know what I mean? Like every Sabres game is broadcasted on MSG, so therefore I'm able to watch it. For most of them are on that channel. Some of them go on the main channels, but most of them are like on the sports channel. And that's like right there. That's pretty much my winner because like that's on pretty much every other day almost. You know, and it's on for months. I mean, like it starts in the fall and it ends in the spring. Like at the end of spring, and it goes longer than any other sport. Pretty much except for maybe NASCAR. Mm-hmm. NASCAR might go a little longer. I don't know, but NASCAR is 9 months, so they might actually go longer than hockey. But still, nonetheless, I mean, like that's pretty much my winner, and that's why I wouldn't like that for that reason alone. Mm-hmm. That's why I won't even consider like satellite or anything like that, because in order for me to guarantee that I can watch the Sabres every time they play, I have to buy that NHL package, and I don't want to do that, so I would much rather get freaking wallet raped by Time Warner, because like seriously, they do that every month those bastards get me, but I pay it because one, I don't have to worry about anything. I got my cable internet. I don't know, there's a house phone that I don't ever use. I think everybody's got that house phone that they don't ever use.
It's part of the package.
And then I got like my normal cable and everything like that, and HBO included with that. And the one thing I really like about HBO is that you get your HBO Go subscription along with it too. And that is worth the HBO alone. Because their catalog is really extensive, especially too, like you can get most of their series, like they pretty much have every single one of them, every single episode. Like I just recently, I think it was 6 months ago was like when I watched the last episode, but I binge watched 6 Feet Under and watched it all in like a month's time, all 4 episodes or 4 seasons. And that was all very new watch to me because I never watched it when it was popular.
Oh, okay.
So like to me, I never, like it was a whole new one. but it was so good, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I watched The Sopranos all the way through again, you know, because again, every single episode.
Yeah.
So, you know, for pretty much everything, like for most stuff, like, I mean, I don't think like Real Time or anything like that, they got every single episode, but pretty much like, you know, all their scripted series.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like even stuff that's been
Like
on
me, I'd probably like binge like Curb Your Enthusiasm or
Curb Your Enthusiasm's coming back.
Yeah, oh, I'm so
like after like 5 years. They've been gone for like 5 years and they're finally coming back. Which I mean, like I thought they were just done. So I'm glad to know that they're coming back.
I mean, because the fucking show cost $5 to make. You know, it's like you know, and then they got rid of the wife on the last season. They got rid of the wife. So
yeah, but then they brought in the blacks. Remember?
Yeah,
which was awesome.
But
that was a great way to end that, right?
Yeah,
there, with that,
him
with the
with
Christmas card
JB Smooth and
yes, that was a great way for them to end that whole thing.
You know,
right
and
there.
the wife is doing The Son of Zorn on Fox.
Yeah.
So I mean, don't be wrong. I mean, I like Cheryl Hines, but like they don't need her. You know what I'm saying? All you need is Larry David and maybe what's her face, the wife, the Susie Essman.
You need the guy that plays Jeff.
But Jeff is doing the Goldbergs. So I mean, don't be wrong. Like I'm pretty sure the Goldbergs wouldn't mind lending him out. You know, I don't think that, you know, or even they could even bring back Cheryl Hines. They could bring back Larry David's wife, but you know, once again, they don't need. Like I think Larry David could. I think you need Susie Essman.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, I think you can't. You're not going to have the show without Susie Essman. No. And of course, they're definitely going to bring back JB Smooth because JB Smooth.
He just like fell right into that character, and like that just definitely just played so well into that series.
Yeah.
Like it just
And so he, you know, and after that, you know, you gotta have all new adventures with just, you know, he's such a brilliant writer, or he's established such a character enough where, you know, I'm pretty sure they could crank out a whole series relatively quick. And like I said, the show costs $5. You know, it's like, you know, they're, you know, it's so loosey goosey. You know, they're brilliant. I guess they make it look easy, I guess would be the better way to put it.
They do the same thing, like, you know, I mean, obviously it's the same thing as like with Seinfeld, where like they just do very well at like starting it off and taking you on a ride, and you don't know where you're going, and then they always somehow tie it all up together at the end. Like what we were watching it, the very first 30 seconds is still relative in the very last 30 seconds, you know? And
it's always the same thing.
Yeah.
Someone wants Larry to do something he doesn't want to do,
well,
and it's always some bullshit social convention that you're supposed to do. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't do it. They call him an asshole, and then that's it. I mean, you know, not to say it's formulaic, but you know,
but it is formulaic,
but it works,
and it works. That's why. And then they stick to that basic formula, but they just figure out another little situation, and boom, they go off running with it.
You're supposed to do it.
Really
I don't want to do it. Why are you not going to do it? I don't want to do it. You're an asshole. But yeah, all right.
But it fills the void too for like us Seinfeld lovers, because like I was one of those people who just really loved Seinfeld.
And I can honestly say that the episode they did with the updated Seinfeld was better than the Seinfeld last episode.
Oh yeah, by far.
I think I think even they realized they left
realize it was shit.
They left Seinfeld on such a shitty note. They were like, look, let's give the fans a proper Seinfeld, you know, goodbye or whatever.
And that's what sucks about The Sopranos, man, is that we'll never have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, that's going to be like one of those TV mysteries that you just never know now.
Yeah.
And especially, too, with, you know, him gone.
It would be bold if they tried to make a Sopranos movie.
Oh, they can't.
Without James Gandolfini.
They can't. They just can't. Unless, the only way they could is if they went with the synopsis that the black was him dying.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who think that the theory is that the cut the black at the very end
was him getting killed.
Hopefully that's not a spoiler alert for anybody, but
yeah,
if you haven't watched The Sopranos by now,
yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
I'm just saying, if fucking Entourage got like, didn't they do 2 Entourage movies?
They've only done one, but they're working on it. They got another one like either in the works or they're doing it now.
You know, Sex and the City had a couple movies,
and apparently there's another one of those coming or something.
You know,
too.
so it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility to do a Sopranos movie.
The second Sex and the City movie, though, I gotta tell you, was not that good. Like honestly, it was kind of like they really should have just left it with the one.
Yeah.
They got. Like, with Sex and the City, honestly, with me, I think they should have just left it with the series and just not came back to it. And then they did come back to it, and the movie was pretty good, the first movie. You know what I mean? And It didn't hold up to the series, but it was still really pretty good and relevant and everything like that. The second movie, it was like, okay, it's like, are they gonna really keep on turning this shit out now? Because like I'm gonna have to keep on showing up on application because I have a bunch of girls that I watch this shit with. You know what I mean? Because y'all got us stuck with the Cosmopolitans and everything like that.
What's
Thanks,
Carrie up
fucker.
to this week? What's Miranda doing now? And then
An Entourage though, man, I thought that the movie was actually somewhat better than the series. Like I enjoyed watching the whole series from beginning to end when I watched it. You know, I mean, like I didn't watch it, like I watched it when it was going on. It's like I was one of those people that would wait for the weekly episode or catch up on demand when it came out on Sunday, and I was see it on Sunday and watching it on Monday or whatever. And the movie to me just was like it was just such a fun ride. And like obviously though, I wouldn't have enjoyed it had I not watched the series and gotten everything, because like you know there was things that carried over, and it was kind of like, you know, like you really wouldn't have been, you know, like you could catch up and watch the movie if you've never seen the series before, but you're definitely not catching it all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I could have sworn I've seen it, but I don't remember seeing it.
What, the Entourage
the
movie?
Entourage movie? And I mean, I like the series. And
you
had
Ronda Rousey,
yeah, where the turtle was like dating her or trying to
dating her in the movie. Yes,
and I mean. There was like a bit of a golden age where it was like Sopranos and Entourage, and I think it might have even started with like Curb Your Enthusiasm or you know there was like then it was like Sopranos and then Entourage, then it was like Sopranos and then 6 Feet Under, and then like all those shows, like Sunday night was like the night, like you had to be home Sunday night.
It's
to
not
fucking,
TV, it's HBO. Remember that?
You know, yeah, but and they keep the tradition on with the Game of Thrones, which once again the rumor is that the series has caught up to the books, and George R.R. Martin is still writing the last book or the last books, or he hasn't finished it yet. So HBO is basically saying we're going to do what the fuck we want to do with it. You know what I'm saying? And I guess you know I think he signed his life away on that one. So what I think they're going to do is they're going to do like a season leading up to a movie. Okay. I think they're going to do, you know, they're going to lead the season. And of course they're going to leave it on such a cliffhanger that you have to fucking go see the movie. You're not going to be satisfied until you go see the movie, and then give us, you know, a movie, you know, the same way that, I mean, you know, they're not milking it, but they're up to the point now where his books, they've surpassed his books, or they've gotten up to his last book that he wrote. Now he intends on finishing it, but you know, he ain't exactly the picture of health. You know what I'm saying? Right. And he's old.
And they do gotta close it out somehow.
Yeah, and I mean, and these are people who've been working on it since day one, so you know they can kind of take that ball and run with it on what they want to do with the characters. You know, and they've been leading to this whole, you know, with the Queen of Dragons becoming the Queen eventually, and all this other bullshit. I mean, I haven't watched Game of Thrones in years.
I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I got the general premise just from everybody else who watches it, because everybody freaking posts about it like every Sunday they're on. In good detail and everything, so you feel like you kind of have an idea. Yeah,
so I mean that's another one that they're going to make into a movie. They have to. I mean, not that they have to, but you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they'll make a Game of Thrones movie. That they'll leave the series hanging where you have to go see the movie, or you'll be out of the loop or whatever.
Yeah, I doubt they'll do a Sopranos movie. I mean, like,
but what balls if they did? If they did a Sopranos movie after,
they would have to do it where they decided that you know what, we're going to disclose that, you know, his character died, you know, Tony died. And then they can carry that, because like that's the only way I could see them being able to do it.
Yeah, that he was killed.
They would have to go with he was killed, but then it doesn't make any sense to do it because the whole show was centered around him.
Yeah,
I mean, like you could go and move it on to the family.
If they didn't have that whole season, remember they had that season he got shot.
Wait a minute, isn't the kid in jail now?
In real life?
The kid who played the son.
Tony Jr.?
Tony Jr. I think he's in jail.
Didn't he
get in? I almost wanted to I'm pretty sure.
But because remember they did that whole season where he was shot in the stomach, and he really wasn't part of the show. Like he was there, but he wasn't there, and he had his own bullshit fucking fantasy scenes or whatever. Yeah. I think if they didn't do that season, they could have done a Sopranos movie without him, because it would have been like the backlash of him dying. You know what I'm saying? And people wanting revenge, and the family falling apart, and you know, and then, you know, maybe, you know, someone else, you know, trying to fill the vacuum. You know, but it's you know, and every day passes unless people people are going to care about a Sopranos movie. Like, I think
I don't know. There is again, too, I'm Italian American, so I can tell you that there are some people that swear by Sopranos just as much as they swear by Godfather.
Yeah,
for real. It's that's going to be an entity that does not die, not by far.
It would be
Us
something.
Italians will not let it happen. That's for sure.
So we've hit the 2-hour mark.
Wow.
And thank you for it.
This is just about the
Hey,
track.
Jim. And earlier.
I forgot too.
Dimitri, Tommy, Kelsea, Jim. Hey, everybody. Sorry, we kind of got caught up in the conversation. But Danny,
here we go.
Danny had commented, and he just said he had a couple more hours worth of work or something like that. So thank you for everyone for checking us out.
Hello. I'm still trying to figure out this guy. Here we go. Legal issues. He was present on October 23rd, 2005 when an underground poker club was raided by the police. Okay, so apparently that's it.
Oh, okay. But he's such a little
He's
shit.
got
You would
3
think.
years probation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he's not in jail.
He's not in jail.
So he's available.
He's available. Yeah. You would just, what, you'd get Christopher and you get, did Chris die? No,
Christopher didn't die. The girl died.
So you get Christopher and you can bring the wife back and the son and the daughter. And, it's not like any of them were working right now. You'd bring back the guy from...
the lady is the mom. She there's a show on Showtime that she's in.
Nurse Jackie, yeah.
Yeah.
But Nurse Jackie, that can't be still on the air, is it? I don't know. Okay. Thank goodness there's no legal
I don't have
acts.
Showtime. I allegedly have Showbox.
Yeah. You've seen every episode of Shameless, but you don't have Showtime. No. Okay.
I don't watch Nurse Jackie, so.
Yeah.
Oh, that one just didn't.
I heard it's good. I heard it's all right. The first season or two. All right. I think we should wrap it up now that we're past the 2-hour mark.
Woo! This is probably why people didn't like it, because we used to do this all the time.
Yeah. We went past the fucking long last episode. We talk a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so please visit.
I didn't play it, I just talk a lot.
Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net where you can find all things show related. First and foremost, you can find links to our iTunes page, which unfortunately will only have the last 10 episodes or so. That's only because I'm lazy and I don't have Wi-Fi, so I haven't had a chance to upload all the older episodes. If you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod, you can find us on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app for Android devices. Once again, the same deal where you can only get the last 10 episodes because I'm too greedy and lazy to upload the older episodes. And if you don't want to use iTunes or the Stitcher app, we are available on our new hosting site, SoundCloud. SoundCloud's where we upload the episodes to. So that's where, when I eventually do get to uploading the old episodes, you'll be able to find them. But you can go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search for Two Strangers, One Podcast, and you can listen to you can actually technically watch, even though it's just the logos sliding across the screen. But you can go back and you can experience the past 5 years worth of podcasts on YouTube. Just search for Two Strangers, One Podcast. And of course, they're my stranger vlogs. I haven't put out one in a while, but I have them backed up. I just haven't had a chance to edit them and upload them. Once again, so we're on SoundCloud. If you want to write us, which I'm surprised, and I'm pretty sure by next episode, we're going to have a nice email from Oscar.
Then I'll just be on commenting at that point too. So
you can write us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com, all spelled out, twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. Once again, we want your money. We need your money. But if you can't give a dime, you can share and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/twostrangersonepodcast. Once again, it takes 2 seconds to like and share the page. It takes 2 seconds to like and share this episode. Follow us. We do have that group, Two Strangers, One Podcast Network. That's a Facebook group. I've been adding a lot of pretty much anyone who's any stranger, which is oddly enough, Two Strangers One Podcast. Anybody that's sort of liked things that I've done in the past and they're not friends of mine, I've added them to the group. So, it's a unique group. Let me see. I can't think of anything else. Twitter. We're on Twitter at Stranger Podcast, but I haven't been really active on Twitter. All Twitter is really just just repost everything we do on Facebook anyway. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't think of anything else. Okay, we've got iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Facebook, email, YouTube, which, once again, and when you watch the YouTube videos, I'm not telling you to like the videos. I'm not telling you to click on the ads before the videos, but if you did, it'd certainly be helpful. But I can't tell you to do that. And I can't think of anything else. How about Jen? What would you like to share with the...
Not really too much. If you guys need anybody to marry you, get in touch with Simply Perfect Weddings, 585-415-1817.
Simply Perfect Weddings.
Yeah, Simply Perfect Weddings.
And like we mentioned in the beginning of the episode, like you officiate weddings.
I do.
And you.
I know we didn't talk about that at all. I could have told you guys a bunch of good stories.
Well, you mentioned it with like the Donald Trump and the gay like marriage. Like you've officiated gay weddings, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So
most of my weddings have been straight couples, though. Like it was just kind of surprising to me. Like I would have thought that.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't. It's who contacts you. It's not like you're like, I'm gonna do your gay wedding.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They have to come to you as a couple.
Like last year, I had like 5 couples that were homosexual couples, and then this year I just for some reason don't have any.
Yeah, they haven't reached out to you.
All the couples that have contracted me for this year are all male, female.
But just letting people know that if they want to do a gay wedding, you officiate those also.
Yes. Gay or straight.
All right, so I can't believe we hit the 2-hour mark. We haven't done a long episode like that in a long time, and actually, I'm surprised my phone hasn't blown up yet. We certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening.
I do too, yes.
And had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Jen.
Don't be a stranger. Peace.
Bye.
We're out. Bye. And of course, I have to say, you should be fapping.
What?
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read it?
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Fucking, are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea, man.
Is.
Look at her. Fucking, she's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. And if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know, you're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.